Okay, looks like we're getting started here momentarily. Our shuffling's out of the way. And to answer the question, no, there is not a cardboard box in Bugle's deck in any form. He relies solely on pushing the villain or pushing the main back, keeping it from being able to contribute with those Zikoras, and removing the villains before they become a problem, or not allowing them to flip at all. Just before we get started here, just in case you're just joining us, you are watching the beginning of Round 3 of the 2017 North American Continental Championships, hosted by Pack Breakers. Brought to you by the Commentary is Magic Crew. This is our semi-final round. There are only 4 contestants left. Your hosts here, I am Furry Flurry.
I'm Critical Thought.
And just one more time, we've got a donation button down below there on Twitch. Those donations go towards being able to make streams like this happen. There are a couple other cameras recording, well, at this point, the other game, so you'll be able to watch that online as well, and that recording is able to happen because of donations like yours, so any little bit is appreciated. Looks like Richard went first. Second, I'm sorry. I should change these names too. That's not fake cheese anymore. We've got Bugle over there. Bugle having gone first, chose not to do anything. Richard dropping these troublemakers.
Farming the Nightmare Star.
Bugle flipping.
Did he have another farm option?
Or no, Bugle did not flip. He was thinking that one of those cards may have been a Nightmare Star.
Or Nightmare Moon, you mean?
Or Nightmare Moon, I apologize. Nightmare Moon would have made Bugle discard his hand, draw 3 cards, flip his main for free. Richard Owens, having gotten that Starlight, allows him to move his AJ up to that Nightmare Star. Challenging that Nightmare Star, getting 2 flips off of his Rock Slide problem, gives him that 2 points from farming that Nightmare Star. It does not look like he had any other villains in hand, so he did get what he needed to be able to get that very powerful start for this deck, but he is not really able to follow up. He did not want Bugle to have that free flip, so he did not play that Nightmare Moon right away. Also kind of a hard villain for AJ to kill right out the gate. He's probably able to do it now with that extra flip and that extra power. He's probably going to wait for Bugle to waste AT, flipping his main, drawing up, filling up his hand.
So he
at which point he will drop the Nightmare Moon.
Rewarded for it. So Richard was like, I don't want to play this Nightmare Moon. If he's not going to flip his DJ and he's going to wait, I'm going to go ahead and pay this AT to try and not Nightmare Moon, and he got it.
What was it that he drew?
I think it was another Nightmare Star, which,
okay,
it's
fine.
I would, as a front player, I would want to have
Keep
that
out.
Nightmare Star sitting
so.
there, just because it really messes with a lot of Bugle's options.
True.
Like a ton of them. Okay.
So, as
Funny
we
enough, Bugle's like, no, I'm not gonna. I know why you drew, and I knew why you played the card immediately.
realizing you've got a villain that's not a Nightmare Moon. That's why you played it, because you don't want a Nightmare Moon. You don't want to give me my flip for free and help me out in any form. You drew for another villain. I saw the card you played was the card you drew. So Bugle going to just take that hit, pay to flip right away.
Bugle, I don't think is going to play those study sessions at all.
We got a Snips and Snails out. We're going to Snips and Snails that problem away. That hurts pretty hard for Richard. Pushing that main home, wasting 2 AT. Also flipping that problem away. This is helpful for Richard, however, still. I think.
I mean, yeah, he doesn't confront it very easily at all.
This problem, if there is a face-down troublemaker there, does not allow either player to confront it. So that does make it a little harder for Bugle to be scoring points. That said, Bugle definitely wants his starting problem, his trading traditions, to remain on the board. It opens up that purple for him. That purple is on his main. That main cannot be destroyed in any form. So as long as that starting problem is there, Bugle has his color. He is not vulnerable to any type of destruction as far as entry goes. Laying a troublemaker, either a Changeling Mimics or an Aramaspi, either one is helpful. Probably an Aramaspi. I don't think we saw what it was. That Rainbow Shine coming out will be able to reduce the cost of his events.
Yep. And we see a flip, and it's a Nightmare Star. That's actually...
Bugle probably should have exhausted that Rainbow Shine before that troublemaker flipped, in case it was a Nightmare Star. He's not able to do that now, so if he did want to play an event this turn, he will not be able to reduce the cost of that. Or more accurately, since he has no AT, he will not be able to play one for free.
Yep.
So there was not a particularly important reason to do that, more of a good practice just to do just in case you're afforded the opportunity to do something.
Yep. Gotta stay sharp. Alright, so Richard is weighing his options. He has a Captain Jack in hand. That's really good.
Captain
he
Jack
also
always
has a
useful in
Lord
this fight.
Zombra, and that's also not bad in this game.
Absolutely.
Because most of Bugle's stuff is 2 power, or 2 cost.
That Sombra, when it uncovers, fearing everything there because of that villain keyword. Additionally, face down cards do still have a printed cost. When it uncovers, Richard can pay 2 AT to destroy all friends there, dismiss all friends there with 2 cost or less, which is most of Bugle's deck, if not all of it.
Yep. Bugle is, of course, a very smart player. I don't think he'll be dropping a whole lot of that kind of... I guess Bugle's like, I gotta get rid of this troublemaker. I don't know, that might be hasty play, actually. Because... Well, I don't know if he can afford the long game, especially with that Nightmare Star sitting around. Because Richard now, he can just be like, okay, well, I know you can't do a ton of the stuff that you want to do. So I'm just going to move my AJ. I'm going to put a troublemaker here. I'll farm here. That's fine.
Unless that, again, that could be an Aramaspi that's there.
Yep. In which case, it would buy Bugle a turn. It would power up the AJ, but...
If Bugle does have any of those movement abilities, if he does have Ponyville Emergency, if he does have Frozen and Magicite, he can shove that main home, he can save that Aramaspi. If that Aramaspi is that face-down troublemaker right there, does not allow troublemakers to flip, so Richard will not be able to farm at that problem. And he wants to leave that Nightmare Star on the board.
Yep.
So he wants to get rid of that Trading Traditions, get Bugle out of his purple, as well as leave that Nightmare Star there. But if that is an Aramaspi, that will not be an option for Richard.
Yeah, he'll just have to take out the Aramaspi, and that's going to cost a turn and give Bugle a draw. So...
No crunching, that's not a thing. Don't ignore that. That's not real.
Yeah.
You don't hear that. Nor am I drinking water right now as I speak. There's that Aramaspi.
I'm looking for the score thing because Richard's at 3.
That is true. We should confront it on the back end there.
So Richard is in a
not the worst position
not
by
the worst
any means.
position, but
Threatened though.
yeah, threatened.
That Aramaspi buys time.
It buys time, gives
He kind of
Bugle a
has
draw.
to try to. He kind of has to try to kill it. Again, Bugle may very well have an option to get him off there.
Yeah, Frozen and Magicite.
Frozen and Magicite. He's got 1 copy.
0, he got it. Okay,
At
so
the beginning of that face-off, Bugle drawing a card from that Rainbow Shine. Kills that Aramaspi. Not a threat to him anymore. Does not score off of it, but he does get it out of the way, so he can begin farming at that bottom problem. If he does lay a villain there, that will remove his Starlight down there, allowing Bugle to confront if that villain goes away, if it is farmed, but it may well frighten that Rainbow Shine as well.
So Richard's position currently is pretty strong, I would say. He's able to. His AJ's strong enough to farm by herself now, without much additional help. He's potentially able to get rid of that Rainbow Shine. His AJ is sitting at Bugle's problem, scoring him points, and the Nightmare Star, which is huge.
True. That Nightmare Star, very helpful in this matchup. Probably the biggest thing that it does, keeping F-Stop, not on the board yet, but keeping F-Stop from being able to exhaust, being able to keep him out of his events. So Bugle will be able to cast those events once, then they're gone if he's not able to exhaust those F-Stops to get them back.
Bugle attempts to fight the Starlight Glimmer with...
or the...
Yeah.
Same thing. It was the same horse. That horse that doesn't exist.
Yep, that horse that is...
that is only in this card game.
Yep, technically.
Sun Blazer up there, whatever her name was.
Yeah,
What was its name?
Big, scary
Sun.
nightmare horse.
I'm having... Wow, I can't believe I can't remember her name right. Daybreaker. There we go. Daybreaker up there. Bugle loses that fight to that Starlight.
Don't call it Daybreaker. I like Nightmare Star better.
Nightmare Starbreaker. That sounds like a
movie.
horrifying finishing move.
Yeah. Nightmare Starbreaker. I mean, it has Nightmare in front of it, so that means it's scary.
Starbreaker is one word, by the way, everybody. It's important. Nightmare space Starbreaker. Hey, there it is.
All right.
Magicite, shove that home. Surprised he chose to use that so early.
Bugle, I think he ditched his beatdown. Or
Interesting. He
beat-
throws away a breakdown, realizes he's not going to be needing it very much in this game. None of Richard's friends very scary.
So I think Bugle challenged that Glimmer to dodge.
That is actually very possible. Did not want that Rainbow Shine to be frightened. He's like, okay, I can move home for free. Either I kill this, cool, or I don't, cool. Cooler.
Yep. Richard's hand is looking pretty good. Like, he has a barrel through just in case. He has a Captain Jack. He has a...
Holding on to that Nightmare Moon.
bailouts.
Doesn't want to throw that out yet, I think, just because of the strength of some of these things in his hand.
Yep. It's a pretty nice hand for sure. He pays 1 to draw. Alright, Singing Barrel, that's not the worst. He can get Destiny Drain. Which, I mean...
What is there to drain
that
in
is
this
an
fight?
option. F-stop.
F-stop if he can get it. Is there an F-stop in the grave? There isn't at the moment, is there?
No.
Okay, I did not think so. Do we know much of what's in Bugle's hand? I have not been paying attention to his hand nearly as closely.
I'm not sure. Yeah, and he plays pretty close.
He does
But
do
it
that.
looks like a lot of events.
Probably a lot of events. Knowing this deck, a lot of events. But I do like that as heavily as Bugle typically relies on that breakdown, he's just realizing, well, what are the friends in this deck? Captain Jack, which will kill it, so who cares? And a bunch of other things I don't care about.
Yep.
We need to focus on getting that Nightmare Star off the board, and we need to just shove that AJ home for the rest of the game.
Yep. So Richard, this is another thing that tends to happen sometimes. Sometimes farm, it just draws, just hard draws.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, well, I only need 1 AT to do what I want, so guess I'll spend this 2 extra to. And what's unfortunate is now Bugle, I don't think he has cracking the case.
He does have that cracking the case to remove that Nightmare Star.
Yeah, and also maybe that's Zombra, but yeah, he'd hit the Nightmare Star first.
Yeah, otherwise, that's pretty well stuck there. He's going to have a tough time killing that. He really needs to for this fight, though.
Yep.
If he's not able to get that F-stop back, he has 1 copy of Magicite, which is in his grave currently. He's got 1 copy of Ponyville Emergency, which is not to be found yet. 2 Zikoras, those are destructible by Richard. He can deal with those. He's got clipped wings in hands. He's got those Captain Jacks that can destroy those.
He has an excellent hand, I think.
He has a pretty phenomenal hand
And
right
his
now. He's
board
in a
state's
pretty
looking
good good state. 2 villains and a main. Great board state.
Yep.
So he's going to be able to farm the Sombra. He's going to be able to drop that Trixie next turn, farm that.
I think Richard's deciding what he's discarding. I don't agree with the Captain Jack.
I don't think the Captain Jack was a good choice. I think it's nice just to have that. Then again, he might be thinking, well, I'll probably get another one sometime soon anyway. Also, I think he realized, yeah, he runs 3.
Okay.
And he's realizing that Bugle is not dropping a whole lot of friends.
Yeah, Bugle's probably like, I need
Paper Twies are not useful right now.
God, it's such a rough... Like, once that Nightmare Star is there, there's not a whole lot to do. South. It is a heavy, steep south plummet.
Bugle needing either that cracking the case or to kill it somehow.
Yeah, he needs to... Like, he has 3 gyros to make over to cracking the case. Or, gyro makeover to cracking the case.
Yep.
And then he has Singing Barrel. And those are his only things.
Yep. He does have 1 more copy of Snips and Snails. Actually, not working on Nightmare Star.
So Bugle is like, I
need
this
these
meticulous.
Cards. He actually his Snips and Snails is in hand, but Snips and Snails exhausts to replace a problem.
It's one of the
not
reasons
something
why
that works against Nightmare Star.
Funny enough, I was actually telling him, like, maybe put cheese in there, and he's like, and I'm like, Nightmare Star really hurts.
It does really hurt.
Like, if someone's sitting with Nightmare Star on a villain, then you're in...
kind of win.
Yeah.
Not quite that doom and gloom yet. We're still early, but
it's definitely looking
it's
like
a heck of a position that he's in right now.
This is pretty rough right now. I mean, Bugle will be like, oh, finally this and that.
Just watch him flip away one of these.
He draws the and he flips and then he
cards.
flips away a thing. Okay.
Nap cakes. Not the most helpful in this matchup, so he's not sad to see that flip.
Did he discard the throw? I think he
tossed that barrel through. Did he not win that fight just now?
Oh, no, he
okay,
did.
he
Yeah,
got
he
it.
did.
He got it.
I was like, weird.
Scoring the 2 off of that Sombra. Going to be able to drop that Trixie at that problem now.
Alright, so now Richard is just considering his options. Again, he's just
Going
like,
to be able to confront here as well. So he's
what
going to
do I
pull
do with
even
this
further
hand?
ahead.
Yep. Potentially hitting 6. And, again, just the solid straightforwardness of farm. Sometimes it's just like,
Hard to deal with.
yeah, what do you do? Like, it's Nightmare Star is so good. How many Nightmare Stars does Richard run?
I believe it is. He has 6 Troublemakers, 3 copies of each.
Okay, well then
So,
he has 3
18
Nightmare
villains.
Stars. That is pretty
Yeah.
good.
Actually, 3 of those Troublemakers, let me pull it up here. 3 of those Troublemakers might be the Starlight Glimmers, and I might have misread that a little bit earlier. So let me see here. He might have 15 villains. Let's see. That is the other orange deck we were looking at earlier. I imagine Bugle's just drawn at the moment. Let's see. Let me flip back over to our game for just a second, see what's going on there.
Okay, Bugle's playing stuff. You got Gyro. Okay. So
Realizing that Meticulous might be helpful. Got a Gyro there. He's probably going to search out that Cracking the Case. Looking from the bottom, realizes, I haven't gotten it yet. Probably towards the bottom. He was correct. Gonna get rid of that Nightmare Star. Realizes how important that is.
If not, it
and
just
he's got the
completely
AT.
or-
He's gonna be able to barrel, Singing Barrel, get that white, get that Cracking the Case, get rid of that Nightmare Star, drop F-Stop in the same turn to get that Cracking the Case back, so that he has it in case that Nightmare Star comes back. And Richard does not have a way to attack Bugle's hand other than that Nightmare Moon, which he kind of doesn't want to use if he doesn't have to, because he's got stuff in hand that he wants.
Yep.
But he's not able to get that Cracking the Case.
So now Bugle is outside of that pretty bad situation.
Exhausting that Twilight to gain that AT at first opportunity, just in case Richard exhausted it with whatever card for whatever reason.
Alrighty here.
I do think Richard should have just left a Troublemaker at that problem, just face down, so that if it was broken through, Bugle wouldn't be able to score.
Yeah, perhaps not the most important thing. What?
We're going to bail out that Paper Twy. That's interesting. Deny him that action token, I suppose. Interesting call on his part, I think. I think holding on to that for a Snips and Snails or something like that would have been... Snips and Snails or F-Stop would have been a lot stronger. Blowing these bailouts early, I think.
Alright, so Bugle might either be... Yep, there's a thing right there.
That Ursa Vanquisher is going to do a lot of damage.
And he does not confront.
Not confronting right now because of that face-down Troublemaker that he just laid.
Yep.
So deny himself that point by dropping what I assume is an Aramaspi there.
Yep, Ursa Vanquisher sitting there. That gives Richard the opportunity to turn it off. Not sure if I'm a fan.
That is true.
Yeah.
Maybe should have just kept it in hand
Yeah, and if Richard
until...
looked through... Yeah, and if Richard looked through his deck, then he knows that Bugle doesn't have any villains.
True.
So he's not going to fear off the Clipped Wings.
Very true. Looking at Richard's deck here. 3 Arizodals, 3 Trixies, 3 T-Rex, 3 Sombras, 3 Inequality, 3 Nightmare Moons, 3 Nightmare Stars. Okay, so 21 Troublemakers in all. 18 of those villains.
So I think Bugle
Or
recognized
epics, rather.
the poor play on his part. Because I think he's like, and I'm going to confront and score a point. He was like, no.
Well, I don't get to confront and score a point. Not a point he really needed. That point not making a difference right now, honestly. He needs to he needs to focus on getting Richard in a state where Richard can't do anything and then tear ahead.
Yep. Unfortunately, he can't do the very, very early mean stuff anymore. That time has passed. Because he has, with Snips and Tails, he opens the door to be able to replace his own starting problem and then get a bigger one. And then if AJ can't confront both and then you're cracking the case,
You start.
then you're fine.
Yeah, AJ starts to fall behind.
There's Snips and Tails.
There we go.
Okay.
AJ has Bugle has photo finishes. He has blackmails. He has these means to be scoring points later if he can get a lock. I think going for that confront was a wrong option. Because now, yeah, that Ursa Vanquisher is now vulnerable to Clipped Wings. And Bugle cannot easily get rid of that.
Yep.
He can portal it. He can portal his Ursa Vanquisher to get that Clipped Wings off of it. That is one option he has.
Yes. And Special Beam Cannon and all.
Special Beam Cannon. So he's got options, but
I guess he
still a
opted
little
not to do
questionable.
Luna's Dreams. Which I don't know. Like, I liked Luna's Dreams for a few very small reasons when it comes to this deck.
I think it's pretty likely that he will have a Rainbow Shine on the board frequently too. So I don't think that extra 1 cost on Luna's Future is the most
Like,
devastating.
but-
I think the versatility may have been worth it. Fidgeting over here, making noise.
Oh wow, that problem. Actually, that's funny. Richard should probably just lay down a Troublemaker over at the. Yeah, I would just lay down a Troublemaker at all to ensure that Bugle cannot confront.
Yeah.
Probably just weighing his options.
Continue to deny him most points.
Yep.
That Nightmare Moon might not be the worst at this point.
Because if Bugle
Fewer useful things in hand for Richard right now. He's burned through a couple of them. And I think it's a lot more damaging for Bugle than it is for Richard.
yeah.
That said, Richard can't really afford to lose too many of his options.
Yep. It's still anyone's game.
I think one option that's worth considering is dropping that Starlight at that top problem as well as the Nightmare Moon.
Bell Tower. Does he still have the Singing Barrel?
Don't believe he does at the moment.
Hmm.
I don't know how useful those bell towers have been. We have not seen a single bell tower come out in any of the games we've watched him play, either yesterday or today.
Wondering what he may be digging for. I mean, stacking up on options could be nice, but I would probably
just move up and kill the Trixie.
Yeah.
Well, he might want to keep that Trixie there just so that problem can't be replaced.
Well,
Blackmail coming out would be problematic.
If he sets the Starlight Glimmer, 2 things would happen, right? One is he'd be able to move it up. If it's Changeling Mimics, he'd be able to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially. Pretty likely. If it's Aramasfi, at the very least, his opponent isn't able to confront the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny Drain. Okay. That's a card to consider. That's a card to look at. Or is it Destiny Drain?
Yeah, he's got Destiny Drain in
Okay.
hand. I think he's going to set down that Starlight.
Yeah.
Dropping it there. Bugle will not be able to confront on his turn. If that is Aramaspi, that Starlight will stay face down, and Bugle will continue to not be able to confront. If it is Changeling Mimics, that Starlight will flip. Richard will be able to move up on his own turn, so his main will not be vulnerable to that Ursa Vanquisher, and he will be able to, hopefully for him, kill that Changeling Mimics.
Yep.
Score that point, get rid of it.
Yep. You want to get rid of it because for AT, AJ
for,
only
an
pays
event.
1 AT to solve problems.
That's all she needs. She doesn't even pay to move. Starlight.
Yep. You just pay 1 AT to move.
She's Swift, secretly.
Yep. Secret Swift card.
Secret Swift, my new OC.
Paper Twy.
Kind of like that as an OC name. That's sort of funny. Secret Swift. Someone should write that down.
Alright, so now we have to see RMSP. Okay. So
Alrighty.
now Richard needs to. I mean, he has a pretty good board state actually. That white problem might be helping him a good deal,
Yeah.
buying him some time.
That Starlight is staying face down, making it so Bugle can continue to not confront over there. That Ursa's still exhausted.
Yep. And it's really not gonna do much right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Richard has a good amount of his options.
She has to be
Singing
exhausted at a
Barrel?
problem for her
Okay.
ability to go off, correct? Can you not
Yeah, she has to exhaust at a problem.
Okay, so Ursa Vanquisher, strange thing, has to be at a problem for her ability to go off. She cannot exhaust and use that from home.
There's the
Photo finish coming out. Problematic for Richard. I believe he might have options to get rid of it. He's looking through his hand. He's got that clip wing. Sets that on top of his hand. He knows exactly what he wants to do next turn.
Yep. again, this is probably one of the big things that I would want to have kept Captain Jack for. I don't think holding as many troublemakers was necessary. So, definitely a questionable play.
We know Bugle has he has Portal to get rid of that, to get rid of the
I'm pretty sure Bugle has
clipped
special
wings.
beam
I'm
cannon.
almost certain he has beam
this
cannon
hand.
in hand. Another useful tool. So Bugle will definitely be able to get rid of this this clipped wings once it comes out. I believe that's what we're going to be seeing Richard doing here. He's got 2 of them, which is kind of nice for him. He should only drop 1, I believe. If he drops both, he can guarantee that Bugle will not score a point. If he only has beam cannon, but and if he only drops 1, he will be able to beam cannon. Bugle will score a point possibly, but if he drops both and Bugle has Portal, both will be gone at the same time, and that is a little bit of a waste.
And really, you get the turn off anyways. You don't need to stack 2. Like there's I think absolutely no reason. There's not
just
even
in case it was a beam cannon and got rid of one of them, it'd already be on
then
there.
then you could play the other one next turn.
True.
Yeah.
Well, oh, that's true. Yeah, beam cannon only on Bugle's turn. So there's one.
All right, so
See, now he's Odal.
So Richard can now move up the thing, and he has an AT, so then he can exhaust the Ursa Vanquisher. Did he play an additional troublemaker
Drop that
there?
Aoizodal there just now.
Okay.
We got an
interesting.
Aoizodal. He's going to try to farm. Take advantage of his opportunity to farm as much as possible while this Ursa is going to be exhausted from the coming bailout.
Yep.
Wants to make sure he can get both of those troublemakers during those 2 turns that it's exhausted. We're seeing something a bit meticulous away. Bugle drawing now.
The scary thing is that if Bugle gets an F-stop, he can just recur that Frozen and Magicite, and then Richard will be in an incredibly bad situation.
Gonna gain that extra AT.
Yep, probably gonna exhaust that DJ too. Alright, he's exhausting the cost, so... Special beam? Yeah, special beam, there we go.
I'm gonna get rid of that.
Yep.
If we don't see an F-stop though, Bugle will not start scoring off of that photo finish.
I'm wondering if why Richard is Richard is just letting that happen.
Interesting.
I'm
Does he not have the AT to
He has
stop
the
that?
AT sitting there, I believe. Or maybe I'm
Might be missing part of the
yeah.
mat as something.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I would have just kept my main at home, waited.
That was a I think that was a pretty clear misplay at that point, because
He would have had 1 more AT. He would have blown this coming turn. He would have blown the an AT for the bailout.
actually I think playing the troublemaker was not a good idea.
Playing the Aoizodal?
Yeah, playing the Aoizodal wasn't
That's
necessary.
that's very true.
And
That didn't need to be there.
He could have kept the Ursa Vanquisher there to continue the pressure, and then potentially factory jacking, or not factory jack, protect captain jacking if he
True.
drew into it.
True. He wanted that Ursa to be on the board. Bugle realizing that there are not a whole lot of events going to come
However,
out on Richard's side.
Richard does have a Nightmare Moon.
There
but
is a Nightmare
He
Moon.
needs to get out of this situation. It's not a good one. Wait, does he not have a bailout?
He may not have a bailout in hand. We might have just assumed because it's orange.
Yeah.
Orange always has a bailout. Apples.
Richard might have to resort to digging at this point.
Yeah, no bailouts in hand.
No
So
bailout.
so that was not the
Okay,
wrong
that
option
makes
on his
sense,
choice
that
then,
makes
or
sense.
on his part.
Okay. Most of it makes sense then. I still find the error, the Aoizodal on the Trixie
Questionable play.
kinda
He could have just
questionable.
held the AT.
Yeah. So now what we're going to do is play the clipped wings again. Almost certainly.
One thing that does is keep pressure there. So if that Trixie were to get removed in some form and Bugle were to start trying to confront that bottom problem, hey, there's a villain there already. You're gonna get frightened, so don't do that.
Yeah, that's true. So there's some.
There are arguments to be made for both, I think.
Yeah.
Still not able to confront up top there because that troublemaker, that Starlight, is not able to flip because of that Aramaspi. So both of them not in the worst position up top.
Yeah, Bugle's looking pretty good actually at this point. He has an idea board state. He can push things back. Richard can't seem to break right now.
Having a little bit of trouble. Not the most useful tools in hand to break out of a bad situation. He could keep a good one if he were in one. Not able to get ahead though.
He does have Destiny Drain, but
F-stop would be his ideal target. We're not seeing that
I'm
F-stop.
not seeing the F-stop. So it's going to be clip
And
frames.
one thing that's real tough for him to deal with, if he uses that Nightmare Moon to try to get an F-stop out of the hand, he loses the Destiny Drain. He has to get the F-stop in the grave by another means. He has to wait for one to come out and Captain Jack it. And if Bugle chooses to get rid of the F-stop, then he can drain. If Bugle keeps the F-stop, I don't think he has another way to be able to get those in the grave, so I don't think that Destiny Drain is going to do him any favors. That said, he needs to keep the threat of it alive, or else Bugle will just be able to throw those F-stops out and go nuts. So he's not able to Nightmare Moon safely right now because of that.
Yep. So as far as the board state is concerned, I think Bugle is definitely in a good place.
He's in a really good position.
Yep. This is just really rough at this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking like it's about to turn around.
Bugle's still not quite scoring, but definitely leaving Richard without options.
Yeah, Richard is just kind of mulling it over. And so he's spending. I don't think that's ever. I don't think that's ever a good idea. I think what he might have been considering is, I'm gonna move up AJ. It costs him more, but at this point, you're just going for hits.
Yeah.
You're not going for, But if you try and play the AT game when somebody has a paper twilight, you're probably gonna lose.
You're gonna fall behind.
Yeah.
Another rough situation though is that I do believe there is still a Nightmare Star available on board for Richard in the deck somewhere, possibly in hand if I'm not seeing it, which is again a very, very strong tool against Bugle's deck right now. However, to get that out, one of these two troublemakers on the board has to be gone. And if that Starlight isn't on the board before Bugle sets up, Bugle may not be able to set up.
Hold on.
Or Richard may not be able to come back.
Thinking about it, Richard, he has a singing barrel now. So all he needs now... Alright, so Portal on the photo finish, that's done. He's going to start scoring points. Now what Richard probably needs to do...
Are we seeing Epiphany?
I think he's discarding the Epiphany. It's not necessary for Bugle to play F-stop. It might even be a mistake at this right now for him to play F-stop. Because,
play too early, you think?
Yes. Because Richard can now use Destiny Drain if he plays Captain Jack and if Bugle chooses photo finish.
Oh, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
No, that is absolutely the wrong choice, though. Because in this case, even if he gets rid of photo finish, even if photo finish were to get Destiny Drain, that is one scoring option. But at that point, Bugle can F-stop Richard into the ground. He would have no options. So F-stop is absolutely the only target for that Destiny Drain if Richard wants to win this, I think. Because otherwise, those Frozen Magicites will keep on coming back. He will never be able to farm. He will never be able to score. Richard needs to get a Nightmare Star out soon so that he can keep Bugle from getting ahead. There's the F-stop. Cards back in hand.
I think at this point, Richard is probably regretting discarding that Captain Jack.
I do not think that was the right choice.
Yeah. So he's weighing his options. He's like, what do I Destiny Drain?
So if a Jack does come out, Bugle can just keep the one F-stop. If Richard tries to go for the hand attack with the Nightmare Moon, his Destiny Drain is already in hand. He will lose that Destiny Drain. He will not be able to get it back. And he will not be able to drain away those F-stops. Also, with one being on the board, as is, even if he were to drain only attacks the deck, the hand, and the grave, not the board. So even if he were to Destiny Drain F-stop somehow right now, there's one on the board already that he cannot get rid of. He can only slow it down with bailouts. Hopefully for him, Lasso Champion can come out, and he can keep that on the board. That is an option that he has.
Yeah, I agree. I stand corrected. So, oh wait, what? Top 8? Are these still
There were probably still some top 8 matches going on. That was very likely.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's very likely the reason that we didn't get the returns.
I think somebody lost their thing, and then it's like, well, good job getting top 8.
Okay. I don't think there are many options.
I don't think there are options.
If he can't get a Nightmare Star here very soon, I think it is over.
Well, there's like no way. He can't like he can't
really
break
get a
this.
Nightmare student. He can't get a Nightmare. He can't get Nightmare Star on the board with the Air Maspy and that Trixie there. Very true.
Yeah, I think this is already game. I think the board state is already wrecked. Richard wasn't able to stomp over enough. I had a feeling that Bugle already kind of had the, like I wasn't too sure before because you think pink, that doesn't do anything to farm, but
purple very much does.
Yeah, purple totally does. But purple messes with, especially solo. That's one of the big things is just solo AJ farm. It's just like F-stop frozen and Magicite. What do you do?
Exhaust your F-stop. I hope.
Okay, portal. You know. It's so rough.
One sad little piece of Richard's situation here as well is that, again, getting Nightmare Star on the board would be helpful. One option that you could frequently have to get rid of a troublemaker is to Captain Jack if they are both yours or if they are both your opponent's, because then they will have to choose to get rid of one. But one of these troublemakers that is stopping him is Bugle's. The other is his own. So even if a Captain Jack were to come out, they would both hold on to their one troublemaker. So that is also not an option to be able to slow him down.
Yeah. I actually think this is game, to be honest. Like, what is there?
Another troublemaker that won't flip over there. Interesting. Gonna move up to try to challenge that Aoizodal. I think we're being a little hasty here. There are bailouts in his deck still.
That's true.
He can wait, try to turn off the F-stop for a turn, try to break out of the situation. There are options. They are just very scary, very limited, very flimsy options.
Actually, like, even if... Because Bugle got the Magicite already, right?
I believe so.
So he'll play it at the end of his turn, and then he'll get it back later. What? Cracking the case?
Interesting.
Oh, he has a... Does he... The Bugle has an Air Maspy? I guess he... I don't know why that's necessary. Like, if it was I need to win fast, it makes sense to me, but I'm not seeing what Bugle is thinking here.
Yeah, there was a... Richard already couldn't farm it if there was a Magicite in hand.
If he has a Magicite and he has an Ursa, it's...
Okay, so Air Maspy coming out, that will keep Richard's troublemaker from flipping. I think Bugle just wants to speed it along.
Well, no. Actually, I kind of see where Bugle's coming from.
He can do it for a lot cheaper if he just continues to Ursa. He could have thrown the Ursa at the other problem, and it would have been the same thing.
Yes. Also,
Ursa does need to be at a problem, but he was able to do it at the other one.
Also, that choice makes sense to me now because he is able.
Oh, I see.
If somehow, right? If Richard's like, well, Captain Jack, Destiny Drain your photo finish. Blah, blah, blah.
Your F-stop or whatever.
Yeah, and then it's just like, well, even if Bugle keeps the F-stop, which we agree is the right choice, then he doesn't have a photo finish, so that's just
very true.
Awful. It's just an awful state.
True.
This one, it doesn't.
So he's opening that situation up before it happens.
Yeah.
Additionally, another consequence of that having happened, if
Captain Jack can break it now, because it's both his.
They're both his. That's true. Captain Jack can get him out of the situation. If he does pull one.
However, Bugle can choose the one that is in the right place, I guess would be the way of saying it. So,
additionally, F-stop into Magicite or Ponyville Emergency costs 3 action tokens a turn. That Ursa Vanquisher also costs 3 action tokens a turn, but that is a secret to every pony, that problem there. That reduces the cost of the first friend you play there each turn by 1.
And he has Rainbow Shine.
So that turns it down to 2.
That's true. Yeah, that was okay. Makes sense now. He wanted to be able to make sure that if a Captain Jack comes out, then he has a means of scoring points still.
Definitely wasn't... I'm not sure if it was better than not doing it, but it definitely wasn't as
because I
as
actually
much of a
wonder
thing as
what
I thought
happens.
it was at first. If what now?
Yeah, wait. He can have stop. He can have stop cracking the case.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no.
Yeah, I think there's just no way of Bugle not winning. If Richard Destiny Drain...
Destiny Drain's cracking the case. Then he can Captain Jack safely.
Yeah, but then Bugle
And
still
start
has
farming
photo
again.
finishes.
True,
Can
but
he-
he can start farming again. In that case, maybe. Well, no, the
No.
F-stop would still be there.
the
You'd still
F-stop
be
is
able to
still there,
get the
so-
everything back. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're just talking about, like...
Oh,
Is
that's
this-
something.
Okay.
If... He's got barrel in hand, at least. Bugle does. But if Captain Jack were to happen, and Bugle were to keep F-stop, his purple entry would be gone. So he would need to spend that AT getting that back out. Not super impactful, but it's something to note.
Oh, he can confront either problem, actually.
Not the top one there.
Still
face down
because he
troublemakers.
played two face down troublemakers. Did he have to do? Yeah, he did have to do. He kinda had to do one.
I'm not able to see Bugle's scorecard, so I'm not entirely sure what he is at, but I believe he would have scored two,
1, 2,
by
3?
now?
I
3?
think he's at 3. Photo finish twice and confront.
Oh, I
Or
think
no,
you're
was
right.
that in one turn?
This just now was the one turn, I think.
Okay.
We'll call it 3. I think it's 3. I think you're right.
Because if Captain Jack happened, if Richard didn't have those two troublemakers there, then he could actually confront that problem
That
because
is
he
true.
has the singing barrel.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, he would be in a
Better position.
an okay position. I
Yeah,
mean,
I still don't quite
they're
agree with
still frozen
having
in
cracked that
eyesight.
Trixie. I would have just left it there so that Captain Jack isn't even a threat.
The Captain Jack still isn't a threat.
At the very least, it gets rid of one of those troublemakers, though.
Yeah, but the one that Bugle chooses would be Aramastfi, in which case now he's behind a problem that he can confront, while his opponent would not be able to confront that problem still. And then he would flip something which
Possibly
maybe
an
Nightmare
Aramastri
Moon,
again.
maybe Nightmare Moon, like it's Richards, Nightmare Star. Okay, so if that is a Nightmare Star,
Then
if there
getting
was a
rid of the
Nightmare
Trixie
Star,
was the wrong choice.
Then getting rid of the Okay, so there's the misplay that I was like, or there's the potential misplay that Bugle might have made. It was definitely preemptive.
That said, confronting does definitely put more pressure, because we're no longer dragging out for 15 turns with that photo finish. We've now brought that down to 7 turns. We've cut the time that Bugle needs to keep this lock in place in half. If a third photo finish comes out, that will bring it down to 4 turns. Richard's still thinking through. Not entirely sure what options he has. At this level of a game, anything can... There's always something that can go right for you. So you never want to call it unless you are certain that it is over. And it is not certainly over for Richard yet. But it is definitely a heck of a position to be in.
Yeah, it's not quite over for Richard.
Using that cleaning up to get back a card. Getting back Haramaspi.
There it is.
Very smart.
Yeah,
Can
that-
throw that at that top problem there now.
Yep, and then that's...
And then that, even if he does get Captain Jack, there is another Aramaspi face down. All he needed.
Yep, that's... Now that's...
Forgot about that cleaning up being able to get you a card back.
Yeah.
And he can F-stop back into that cleaning up, use that cleaning up to get back whatever troublemaker again. If he does get Captain Jacked, F-stop into cleaning up into Aramaspi again.
Yeah, it's... Less and less options are there's less and less things that could possibly help Richard at this point.
Captain Jack is definitely one of the pieces. Nightmare Moon is likely one of the pieces. Bugle opting to throw that Aramaspi at the bottom problem.
Okay.
I think he wants to keep that top one there because those troublemakers are there, possibly.
Yeah, that's
He wants to
probably
keep those
it.
troublemakers. He's like, I know these are villains. I know they might be Nightmare Star because that's the right place to put Nightmare Star. I want those to stay face down. So if I do get jacked, I'm going to keep that one there. This Aramaspy will die, and then I'll have another one. Who cares?
Yeah, and Richard just looking at that singing barrel, and he's like, "What do I do?" Because yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the glimmer of hope here.
One of the downsides to running a bunch of events is you need to recur them to reuse them. One of the upsides is Harsh Judge, Destiny Drain, they do a lot less.
Yep. This is one of the other reasons why, in addition to... this is why a lot of people, I think, have been running Chrono Trigger over Zombra.
That's fair.
I'll be back.
Alrighty. I'm the only one here with you for a moment. So we're looking at a pretty dire situation for Richard, I think. Ahead on points doesn't matter if you are confident you are not going to be able to score for the rest of the game. He will not be able to challenge either of these troublemakers. Bugle, with that F-stop on the board, will be able to bring back either Ponyville Emergency. He's got Ursa Vanquisher in hand. There's a Frozen Magicite in the grave. Will not be able to challenge either of these, so he will not be able to score by confronting. He will not be able to reveal villains to farm because those Aramaspys are there. Starlight in hand is something that if he could get it onto the board would do a lot to help him. Starlight not allowing Bugle's friends to exhaust, so Bugle could not get back events, he could not gain AT, he could not reduce the cost of events, he could not replace problems with Snips and Snails or push things back with Ursa Vanquisher. That would do a lot of damage if Richard could find a way to get it on the board. One option that he has to get rid of one of these troublemakers is to play one of these, play one of these Captain Jacks here. If that does happen, however, Bugle will choose which of these two Aramaspys to keep. He will keep the top one, the bottom one already protected by a second face-down Aramaspy, so it will just flip right back. And Richard, with no recursion, has very limited Captain Jack casts. So if he is going to use that or Nightmare Moon to attack Bugle's hand, he has to make them count. He really has to capitalize on them. And Critical's back here with me as well. Richard's still thinking through his turn, realizing how limited his options are. Movement doesn't do much for him. Many cards in hand don't do much for him. Opting to just draw and hope to buy time. That Popping Corn will buy a little time.
Have you maybe figured out what Richard might be looking at this point? Because I've seen this deck. I don't know. I've seen what tech he has, which is Singing Barrels, Bell Tower, and Destiny Drain.
I think he's kind of at this point just like us, hoping that he hasn't realized something yet. Or additionally, there's always the chance that the opponent gets overextends, gets a little cocky, misplays, thinks, if I've got a second F-stop, I can win sooner. At which point, Captain Jack would actually get one of those off the board. He would be able to drain it, then there would only be one left. If he could find a way to get rid of that left F-stop, that would do some work for him. If he could frighten it, if he could exhaust it, he could buy himself a turn or two that way. Possibly break out of the situation. So I think it is really just hoping for a misplay in some form. Hoping to realize something that nobody has yet.
This is one of the things about farm decks is I think typically they lose to control just most of the time.
I think so.
But but one of the things they can do is mess with you just a little bit with Nightmare Moons, and then score up to even like 12, 13, and then you might not have enough time to get back. You can lock them down, but can you get all the way up
in
there
normal tournament?
With normal passing the turn?
If
Even if the farm player is honest enough to be like, oh, okay, well, I draw my card, I pass, or whatever. Even if that be the case...
Is that correcting the case we're looking at, or cleaning up?
Cleaning up.
Cleaning up.
In which case...
cleaning up being 2 cost, card that allows Bugle to banish a card from a grave. Doesn't matter in Richard's case.
I think Richard maybe...
That's possible. And to get a card from his grave and put it into his hand. Any card from his grave and put it into his hand.
Yeah. You selected the top one. Oh, That was the misplay. I saw that and didn't think. But that totally did happen.
What's that?
Richard assumed it was the top card that was banished. Because
Top card of his deck?
Yes.
Oh.
I thought for some reason drawing or whatever or the turn pass.
Not the
That
top card of
totally
his grade.
did happen.
What was banished?
A troublemaker. I don't know. If it was a captain, I don't know. I'm the type of player to pretty much figure out.
I think that's a misplay on Richard's part. I don't know where the
Yeah,
issue is.
no. That's a misplay on Richard's part, and not only that, but it's like 4 turns in advance.
Yeah,
It's
that
4
was
turns
at
later.
least a few turns ago.
At that point, I think that one rule comes into play where after the most you can rewind is 1 round.
I
or
think,
one
yeah.
or 2 rounds.
It was, if not too much information has been revealed.
Yeah, and that being a little subjective, but overall, it's just like we can pull it back because that was wrong. But it's been several turns. He said the top. Yeah. Oh, Bugle's language actually.
said top card.
He did say the top card, and a lot of people when they hear that they assume the top of their deck.
Yeah.
So that
but
is a fair,
again, I think that's an assumption.
yeah. That well.
He didn't say banish the top card of your deck. He didn't lie to him. He didn't cheat.
Yeah,
he
he
said,
didn't. He didn't lie, but his language, or ordinary language, when you hear the top of a thing, you think the top of your deck. So I think
True.
that is it. It is fair to be like, hey, this happened at the very least.
I guess that's true.
And
I
I
still
don't
don't
think
think
Bugle meant to do
Yeah,
so
no,
maliciously.
absolutely
It
not.
was purely It was
Miscommunication.
poor communication.
Yeah.
But overall, it didn't.
I don't think that's
It
gonna
didn't
affect
hit
much of
Captain
anything.
Jack.
Yeah,
So
and that is pretty much the
that's
only card that
that is
would
the thing that could possibly do
have
the
been
thing.
hit that might affect this. We're going to cast that Captain Jack finally.
So yeah.
So that Airmaspy's gone. That Airmaspy is protected by another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ooh. Okay, Bugle.
So,
It's Richard's turn, right? How much AT does Richard have?
yeah.
Because then Richard can do the Destiny Drain thing. Oh wait, no, he has cleanup. Never mind, he's fine.
Unless he gets hit this turn.
Good fight. Well, no, cleanup is immediate.
Oh, true.
Yeah, but
But he okay, and he still has that white. So yeah, no, he Bugle's fine.
if he and he has the AT, so that is Does Richard have the AT? Is Bugle aware that Richard's capable of Destiny draining his F-stop?
I imagine that is a card he took notice of.
Yeah.
Again, if he just gets another one on the board though, still something that's totally
And
fine.
I think why Bugle did that, because he knew it was the wrong choice after he
There's
said
that cleaning up.
it. Yeah.
Get that F-stop back. He knew, of course. He did it.
He knew that was a possibility.
He knew.
Yeah.
Did he?
Oh wait,
He did.
actually that was probably the right call anyways, actually. Because it's like, okay, Captain Jack, then Bugle would be like, okay, cleaning up my F-stop because it's on him now. It passes to him.
Yeah.
So it was actually it was the better play in terms of speed.
Yeah.
But that's it. I don't think it'd make too much of a difference in the long run. So now
Airmaspy reveals that Captain Jack is gone. Back to square one. We're gonna drop an F-stop. We're gonna get that cleaning up back. We're gonna banish the top card, not of the deck this time.
the cleaning up was the right choice on
Yeah,
Bugles,
absolutely.
and I think
We're entering
Thinking
it
about
purple
it-
again.
thinking about it, because I mentioned this in my primer. Cleaning up is probably the right choice for
A recursionary card.
yeah, to be it's a little bit more recursion. It's able to get your F-stop out of bad situations and other cards too.
re-entering purple, dropping that Zakora just to keep those Aeromasteries a little safer. Also, just to have the purple out, I think.
Yeah, purple was...
I think every Captain Jack is gone. Is that right? He might have one more.
He has one more.
Does he have one more?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Assuming that card that was accidentally banished
yeah.
was not a Captain Jack.
I do believe he has one more, but there's a possibility he threw away the one. Maybe we missed something. He threw away the other. I don't know. Hard to say.
But yeah, cleanup. Yeah, that was the right call. I'm learning a lot, actually.
From this game
yeah,
here?
from all the games that most of the games that I've seen.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I've been like, oh, yeah, maybe I should be, just whatever on my start.
And that was
my
that
problem.
was a score for Bugle on his turn
Yeah.
as well. That photo finish last turn.
Yeah.
So he might be higher than I've got him at right now, but
I believe he's out there at 5 or 6.
I think he's at 5 now. Once he ends his turn, I can't tell if it's Richard's turn quite yet.
So yeah, I'm learning that cleanup is almost certainly the right option for the Cruel Mistress build. The problem deck probably does need a revision because I think I do agree with who was our the first pink purple player.
Oh, earlier today.
Yeah, I forget.
Who were we looking at earlier?
Did we get the bracket for top 4?
We have not seen the updated one yet. They may have sent it to us, and I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
But
yeah, I completely forgot.
We're looking at Josh. Josh was that player. Yeah, we haven't seen an updated bracket yet for who has made it over on the other side.
I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll be a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Bugle has everything
he
and
needs
every
to
option
close
he
this
needs
out.
to fight this deck.
Did Bugle? Did he end his turn?
I believe so. In which case, he scored a point. Sorry again for the slightly inaccurate scores. We're kind of talking about the game more than keeping track of it.
Not being able to see those. Not being able to see the scorecards.
Yeah.
Is a little, well, the one scorecard's a little rough too.
Yeah, and Richard's looking for Destiny Dream, but there's just what do you hit?
Yeah, there's not much that.
There's really nothing impactful.
Everything has another option to cover it, and he can only get rid of one thing, so he can't solve any one problem. I can't move my main up. There are 3 solutions to that. I can't get these troublemakers off the board, or I can't get a troublemaker on the board. There are like 3 solutions for that.
We can't see that, but.
Oh, I think he might be showing something to Richard, possibly.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. Jacob and Joshua are the ones who made it through on the other side of the bracket there. Let me see.
So I think that means that the white-purple player has lost. Unless.
So let's see. Justin Chang has been knocked off, and Joshua Stuick will be moving on to is currently in semifinals, and then Jacob was the other name that I read, correct?
Yeah, Jacob. So Matt is knocked out. Sad day.
So we got Jacob and Josh on the other side, and what are they running?
Excellent play.
Jacob and Josh.
Oh.
So Josh, another DJ control build. He was the one we were watching earlier. He was that other Bag of Tricks-ish player, and Justin with a Hot Wings build.
Oh. It's a tad surprising. Well, okay then.
Or no, did I misread that? No, Jacob moved on, right?
Okay,
Let me.
yeah, I
I
thought
was
there
about to
were
say.
no
Wait a
aggro.
sec. Hold on. Jacob and Josh have moved on. Okay. Jacob is an AJ aggro deck that we haven't seen, so that might be Apple Vendor. We still don't know.
And that beat.
And Josh, Jacob and
Purple
Josh.
White. Weird. I think I know how that could work out. in
And
that
Josh
deck's favor.
Stuick was our first game earlier today. So yeah, AJ aggro. We still don't know what that one is.
It's Apple Vendor with a bunch of fast stuff.
I think so.
Yeah, and I think the reason that... Actually, I mean, there's still options, but... Yeah, I could see how Cruel Mistress could maybe lose to that. Peculiar. Anyways, to this game.
Looking through Grave, Richard seeing if he has any options to get out of this.
I mean...
I'm just thinking about it now. I don't know that I'll think about it later.
I don't know. I really don't know that he has a single option left.
I really,
I think it's
I've
over.
been
I would
convinced
call it
for
at
the
this
last few
Yeah.
turns that it's over.
I'm sorry.
Pardon my tone.
I
It's just
think-
like after a while.
I
just
think
come
up till
on.
this point, there's been a chance for something to go wrong. But clearly, Bugle has proved with his last few moves that he's thought all these options through,
Yeah,
and nothing is gonna break through this.
Yeah.
I don't think.
I will just say confidently that there is nothing now.
I think that is true.
Yeah, like I don't mean to be a downer, but I'm just like there's nothing.
Discarding a bunch of villains.
Well, whatever. Yeah,
Back over to Bugle's turn.
No, let's see what's chat saying.
Nothing for a little while.
Suddenly grows apples.
All right, we're
Yeah.
meticulousing. Still not forgetting that trigger as long as it's been since his turn. Well, he's thinking about it. Setting that on top. Gonna draw that card.
Some cardboard box.
Exhaust. Gain that AT. Gonna F-stop first thing before anything else happens. Gonna get Portal back. Interesting choice.
You could just pour if there's
Portal that
a
Zakora
clipped
over to the
wing,
other
if there's
move.
a clipped wings or whatever, it just
Fair enough.
yeah.
Confronting passing turn.
I mean, there's plenty of other options for whatever else could happen.
Richard Owens still drawing, looking for something. The longer he waits, though, the more dire his situation looks. At least he had more points beforehand. Points are even now, and Bugle is just getting more and more of his game-ending options into his hand.
Yeah, and there's no. Yeah,
And even if a Nightmare Moon were to come out somehow,
there
there's an
is a
F-stop.
time limit at all.
Yeah, so I think
So
I don't know that this is one I'd still be fighting out at this point. I don't think there are options left. I think that's why he's just kind of quickly drawing. He's trying to make sure that he's not forgetting anything. What, 4 cards left in deck?
yeah,
Looking through his banished pile.
and you know what Picard, that one Picard quote. You know, you can make no errors and still fail.
And still fail. That
Yeah.
is true. There were not... I don't think there were much of any misplays on Richard's side this game.
Yeah.
Nothing major that I noticed. I think this one was kind of doomed from the start, possibly.
Yeah.
It didn't look that way at first, but no, Bugle pulling it out. He knew what board state he wanted. He knew what board states could exist. Ended it
Yeah.
before it started.
And I mean, it's just extremely rough, and sometimes it's hard to swallow. You know.
Especially having come this far.
Yeah. Like, you're in the semifinals,
Mm.
and it's just like, this is it. And it's not even me. I mean, it is in the sense that he chose the deck, but not much else.
Mm-hmm. Still holding on to one of those Nightmare Moons.
Okay.
Realizing he has very limited time left to try to knock one of these Aramaspes over and win. Hoping for the best, challenging him if he has afforded that opportunity. If a Ponyville Emergency comes out, or if that Ursa Vanquisher is played, just can shove both of those home with no consequence on
Yeah, he
Bugle's
wasn't
side.
even thinking that the Zakora is there.
That's true, he should have done those
I
backwards.
mean, you can put flips on or whatever, but I think I see the Buzzbear thing or not. And also Bugle can just kill something.
looking pretty rough. Bugle, meticulous. Dropping it to the bottom, not something he needs. Adding that on top. Probably going to exhaust for AT. F-stop right away, as he has been. He may cast something and then F-stop that card back. If he's got a, say, Ponyville Emergency to move both those friends home. But he also does have Ursa Vanquisher in hand, so he could just get another event back, have it for safety, use the Ursa Vanquisher to push those characters back.
Yeah, Bugle's
Looks
just
like he'll
kind
do
of
that.
like just kind of going, okay, well, I'll touch and see if do you have a bailout now? I don't know if all three bailouts are in the discard pile or if
I
it's in
imagine
one
so
of the
at this
four
point.
decks. Yeah.
A couple of them were blown pretty early on what I thought were honestly kind of silly things. I think those were maybe the biggest misplay that Richard has made. As we were saying earlier, you could save those to turn off F-stops for some turns. You could save those to turn off Breakdown, even though Breakdown didn't end up making almost any difference in this game. I don't think one ever actually entered the board. Mostly F-stop. You can turn off F-stop for a turn. You can prevent a confront, and hopefully buy some time if you've got if you stumble into a blackmail. As is, Bugle confronting again. Jumps up to 9. We do have a Clipped Wings in hand, so that's something. I don't know that Bugle got his.
Bugle has Portal. And
Oh,
also
he has
could
Portal
just
in
get-
hand. That's true.
And even if that's Destiny drained, he has Special Beam Cannon.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about at first. I wasn't sure that he had Cannon in hand, but yeah. Portal will save up that F-stop. He doesn't need to play a second F-stop to risk that getting drained, even though... Well, the drain is still in hand.
Be right back again.
Still waiting on his draws. Just opting to finally draw through those last cards. That barrel through not gonna help out a whole lot. It would allow him the extra flips that would help defeat one of these troublemakers if he could stay on there for more than just through the end of his turn. He's not able to break through these. He has no options to get out of this F-stop loop. There's nothing left. There's no destruction. There is only that Clipped Wings, and he knows that Bugle has that portal. That portal was F-stopped back into Bugle's hand. Do you think there's anything that Richard could have done to change things up early? I think he had a good start. The Nightmare Star was there. That was probably the best thing he could have done to try to get ahead and stay ahead as early as possible. He farmed one of them. I don't think that was the right choice. I would have just left it, ignored it, tried to protect it, focus the other problem. He's had that Nightmare Moon, I think, the whole game. And he was afraid to throw it because he had some useful cards in hand. And they were cards that... There were things like Barrel Through that he didn't need. There were things like one Singing Barrel that he didn't need that early.
The things he has to do, or he has to get, he needs Nightmare Stars and Nightmare Moons, and he needs to flip his main and farm fast.
Mm-hmm. He needs to get ahead, stay ahead.
Yeah. He needs that Nightmare Moon on the other side, or Nightmare Star on the other side, so then Bugle can't do anything to really stop him until he gets a Cracking the Case. And he needs to play, it doesn't buy him enough. Like, the single small thing to stop it is just, it's insufficient now.
True.
With these, kind of control machines.
That is kind of what started to happen at the beginning of this game, too. That Nightmare Star was there. The Cracking the Case was something that Bugle had to dig for, and then eventually got that Gyro to be able to pull that out and get rid of that Nightmare Star. But as soon as it was gone, there wasn't a whole lot left. I think he really needed to not have farmed that first one. Hold those in his hand. I think he's been holding Nightmare Moon. I think it was Nightmare Star that is the card that he's been needing to protect this game. Drop those as soon as one goes down. As soon as one gets cracked. If there's not an F-stop, drop another one immediately. Even if there is an F-stop, drop another one immediately.
Okay, I mean, Bugle has Portal.
Clipped Wings on that photo finish, trying to buy time. Even though he's fallen behind on AT, he's not able to confront, and he is out of a deck at the moment.
I think he has like a few cards in his deck. Portal.
Not cleaning up. Portal. There it is. Gonna portal that. That clipped wings is gone.
Yeah,
Richard knew he had that as an option too.
Yeah. This is it. I'm not one to fight a losing battle, so it's hard for me to understand, I suppose.
If there is a chance at victory, I always will. I don't think there is anymore. Up until a couple turns ago, I think there was narrow chances, but Bugle has demonstrated time and time again this game alone that he has options for everything that Richard could have started to do, and he did not do those things early enough. He did not do them at all in some cases, and Bugle's got that portal right back.
And he has the hyper consistency. He has the means of. Okay.
Bugle gonna bail out, or Richard gonna bail out that DJ to keep that confront from happening.
For 2 turns.
For
Okay.
2 turns, that'll buy time, but there's nothing more to buy time for. Honestly,
Yeah.
there's no deck left.
He discards Nightmare Star.
Discards Nightmare Star, one of the few things that could have done something if something favorable happened for him somehow.
And it's, again, it's just, yeah. And when I said when I'm fighting a losing battle, I just mean that the battle is lost. There isn't a way. It's just done. And it's proven unless Bugle lets him win, and that's not happening. This is, yeah. Now we just gotta fill up dead air, I guess. I don't know, and people gotta play out the game,
And that happens in tournament though. If you're fighting a combo deck, I've seen situations where somebody was getting comboed and made their opponent play it out. That combo opponent gave up that game. They did not want to have to play out a combo as long as that was. That was way back early in the game's life. I think it was either one pace or one shot at the time. One of the real early combo builds. It took about, I think it was one pace because it was back when it took an eternity to play out. You would have to juggling routine or changeling infiltrate. I think it was juggling routine at the time. Your deck through twice to gain a single AT, I believe, and to score a single point. So you had to cycle through your deck and play about 20 events 30 times. Even for those who were very good at it, it took about half an hour to do. And even though it's easy to, well, it's proven that you've got the game. I've seen players make their opponent play it through as they legally can do, and that opponent did not want to have to play that through. So that opponent surrendered a winning game. So in tournament, in games of this high level, if the win is there and you want that win, then that is definitely an option.
Bugle isn't that type of person, so I'm just kind of like, okay. Well.
I've seen Bugle surrender games, absolutely.
There is no deck. When he knows he's lost.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
In this case,
I've
he
definitely
knows
seen
he's
him.
Won.
And so Bugle's Bugle. He'll play this through. He'll do whatever he needs to. Unexhausting things. That DJ becoming only once over exhausted. Scoring a point off that photo finish.
Is this literally actually stalling?
There's no time limit left to stall on, so.
I mean, there's technically two and a half hours, right? And this has been dragging along.
I suppose there's no hard time limit. They're just gonna try to limit it to 2.5 hours for these rounds.
Okay.
So there's no stall strat as an option right now either.
I suppose.
So for those of you just joining us, we're looking at the tail end of round 1 of the semifinals of the 2017 North American Continental Championship, hosted by Pack Breakers. This stream is brought to you by the Commentary is Magic crew, of which Bugle is... Oh, there is a hard time. I was just informed. I apologize.
Okay, then,
of which
then
Bugle
point,
is playing on stream at the moment. I'm one of your commentators, Furry Flurry.
And I'm Critical Thought.
But yeah, I apologize. Apparently there is a hard time of 2.5 hours, so there may be a strategy to Richard trying to stall this out at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine.
We see Snips and Snails come out to be able to start confronting that problem quicker. even though that DJ was exhausted up till now.
Okay, so what we have...
Let's see here. Ties are sudden death, so I guess it's the first point goes to the winner, I believe, then, in that case.
How long is this?
Let me see. Yep. First point goes to the winner in that
then
case.
This is really just
sudden
not
death.
good.
All right, so there is a hard time limit. Richard playing that long game in that case in the hopes of winning a later on game, I believe.
I suppose.
So if as a farm deck, if he is able to get ahead and stay ahead in another game, he may be able to take that game. I don't know what would happen in that case if it was 1-1 and that second victory was because of a timeout. I suppose we'll just have to see in that case. Judges might have to step in. I'm not sure if there are rules in place for that situation. So we'll just have to see. But he is still playing the longest game. He's such a long game that it's not this match or it's not this game anymore. It is the full match.
It's literally just stalling.
We see the drain gone now. Well, he's got the drain out. He's looking through his opponent's grave.
And okay, to be fair, I do not not like people stalling or whatever. If it's a legal move, then you can do it.
A little hard to talk about, though, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about, and it's hard to watch.
As far as I guess a second ago I didn't really mention this. If you are just joining us, it looks like we've got a few more people than we did before. We do have, if you're watching on Twitch, we've got a donate button down below. Fluttershy with a little sign in her mouth there saying every bit helps. That is true. We are recording, this is semifinals, so there's actually only one other match going on at the moment. But up until now, where there have been more games than just the two going on, we have had two other cameras rolling, keeping track of other games as well. Those cameras were paid for by donations that you can make through that button below there. And every little bit does help. It allows these players to get to these events, to stream these events to you, to keep them up on YouTube. Bugle, very helpful in the community, does a lot for it. Runs his Silver Spanner tournaments on the Reddit. Flitter and Cloud Chaser Explain. Cloud Chaser and Flitter Explain, got it backwards, sorry. Has one of those up very frequently, always talking about new cards, new sets. So they do a lot for the community. They help you guys out a lot if you like this game. Go ahead and help them out if you're able to. Every bit's appreciated. I guess we're... what are we looking through there? Is that his hand?
He played Destiny Drain. I forget what he had.
Oh, okay. So he's looking through the hand. He's looking through the deck. Okay.
Yeah.
Eating up more of that long time limit.
And I apologize for my tone. I'm gonna cool off. So, all right. Now we got the flammer and the AJ's there.
I'm not sure if. Well, I was about to ask if Bugle, I think, is going to let that Flim sit there at that Aramaspi, because I'm like, does he even want to let a challenge happen? It doesn't matter anymore. There aren't cards to flip. Richard is guaranteed to lose that face-off. Unless Bugle flips a -4, and that's not a thing. So, Bugle will be confronting there. Oh, Richard apparently ended his turn after the Destiny Drain. And that will... Oh, apparently we had our score 1 low, so that will put Bugle up at 15. That is game 1 for Bugle.
Alright. Good job, Bugle. You did it. And,
I honestly didn't expect Bag of Trick. I knew it had options, but I did not expect Pink to be able to handle farm that well.
It's just because purple.
Yeah, purple carried it through that for sure. Up until this point, since we hadn't really seen the entirety of his deck, I just assumed there were going to be cardboard boxes, because that's Pink's typical go-to. Oh no, farm, put a box on it. Whatever. If you don't like it, put a box on it.
Yeah, nah, all you need is F-stops and
F-stops and other things.
Yeah. As long as you have 2 to 3 good options against what your opponent wants to do, if it's a very singular choice, then you win. Most of the time, anyways.
Shuffling back up here for game 2. Bugle seemed to have had that figured out before the situation even arose. He knew Nightmare Star was an option. He knew he would have to dig. He was okay with it. He dug. He got that cracking the case. He removed that, and he tore ahead. We were talking about what we thought Richard could do.
And yeah, my thing is that What Richard needs is a Nightmare Moon on one side, and he needs to or Nightmare Star on one side, and he needs to be Nightmare Mooning.
I think that's important.
Unfortunately, like because he doesn't have POW, he doesn't have Limestone, he doesn't have a lot of stuff.
Choice. I think that was the biggest thing that was a questionable choice. Being able to POW into Nightmare Moon over and over, just refarm that over and over, even if you only do it 2 or 3 times. I mean, that's 9 points. So that's most of the game right there. But additionally, how do you recover from that? Not having a hand all of the time.
Yeah, that's what. That's why even though this mono farm definitely got Richard far, against like F-stop cracking the case and Ursa Vanquish or other types of board states, it's just
There's not a whole lot to do.
Yeah, there's not a lot to do. It looks like we're getting a lunch break here.
It's possible. I might have just stepped away to fix something or something. Farm is hard to deal with a lot of the time. If you don't have specific things to deal with it, it'll walk straight through you. But even though it is hard to abuse, it is abusable, and if you do, it can't do much. It's disruption, it's everything, is those troublemakers. And if it can't throw those, if it can't flip those, if it can't get those out, and if it can't kill those and continue to flip those, it kind of just gets stuck behind its own wall. You have to kill them to flip them. You have to flip them to disrupt your opponent, and you have to disrupt your opponent to continue to kill them. And if one of those things stops, kind of the whole cycle does, I think. Oh, we're getting a little camera adjustment, or we're just bumping the camera, I suppose.
What's going on?
Earthquake.
Yep, Earthquake. It's a good Pokemon move.
Pokemans. Parents knew exactly what they were doing when they called it Pokemon.
Yep.
No, Dad, it's Pokemon. No, son, it's Pokemon. Trust me. You'll get it when you're older. I'm gonna step away for just a minute here, real quick, before we start Game 2. If Game 2 is starting right away, I think it is. I imagine it is.
It looks like lunch break.
All right, that's possible.
Or they're taking a lunch break, anyways. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's having a good day. It looks like we will be, it looks like games will be happening at some point, and, what's there to say? How you doing, chat? I am critical. Alright, generic rhyme. Glad you're having a good day. So, who thinks what's gonna win? Do you think that so there's a AJ aggro deck apparently. There's another pile of presents. DJ Purple Control. Oh, are we switching? I think we're switching. Cool. AJ, what? Or what's happening? Okay, I don't know what's happening. So people are doing something here. I was wondering if we were changing around here, but no, we're gonna watch Bugle and Richard play their second game. Okay, I thought it was for some reason I thought, they were switching around, and for some reason, somehow, some way, a aggro AJ wouldn't fight. It just would have been really funny. I was deceived, though. Or I wasn't deceived. I misperceived. There you go. It's easy to mix 2 and 1 words, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. I believe.
Alright, so okay, we're starting up Game 2 right away then.
Oh boy. I hope Bugle gets 2 photo finishes if he has a winning board state.
just to speed it along a little. I'm surprised another one didn't come out. I don't think there was much of a reason for that, just in case there was another Jack or something, I guess.
Bugle was sitting on a pile of AT after.
That is very true.
Well, look at that little bucket.
I think he was being equally cautious.
I know Bugle should be cautious or whatever, and you could, you'd just be like, okay, I guess I'll get this one thing, and then this other thing. And I'll get this one other thing, even though I already have that thing.
We'll do the absolute minimum required to win, so that if you do some damage, It is the absolute minimum amount of damage that I can take.
Oh yeah, and Richard needs to just Captain Jack Watts. He needs to not discard his Captain Jack.
I think
that was
so.
a really that was probably
That
one
was
of the huge
very
things where I'm like,
questionable.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah, no, that is one of his absolute saving cards in this. He has limited options just in general. Nightmare Star, Destiny Drain if he can hit a good card, Nightmare Moon, and those Captain Jacks. And he threw a couple of those away on a couple occasions, and that was. You don't need these friends. You don't need that flim flam in hand. That was there. Why did you keep that? That was you didn't need that barrel that early if you knew you had another one and weren't gonna Nightmare Moon ever, apparently. Barrel through. If you're fighting something, you're gonna win. You don't need to flip additional cards. Not really. If your main gets pushed back and you challenge, the face-off is still going on, so I guess you can try to win in that case, but not scoring on one Troublemaker wasn't the problem. It was, oh no, my whole deck is getting shut down. There are other priorities, I think. So I found a few of those discards pretty questionable. Otherwise, I think he, at least at first, started to put good pressure in the right places. I think he needs to throw those, keep that pressure where he can put it, keep those cards so he can keep it up as long as possible. Hopefully be able to creep over that 15 mark before Bugle's machine is set in motion.
Yeah, because really, once the machine is there,
there's not a whole lot to do.
There's not much, and then eventually there isn't any.
Very true. As we saw in that last game, but yeah, 2.5 hour hard cap apparently. At which point, again, it goes to sudden death if there is a. If there is time, I guess it goes to points in that case. So I'm not entirely familiar with that procedure. I've not seen it before. We may see it here. Bugle is up a game. If this game gets interrupted in the middle, I think it may just be called for Bugle in that case. We'll just have to see, I guess, though. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to run into there. Shuffling problem decks. Not unacceptable by any means at this high-level play.
It was weird when we first saw it.
Yeah, the first time you ever see that at a tournament, you're like, you're shuffling my problem deck? I mean, yes, you should, I guess, but it's a little strange.
Yep.
Like, cutting the deck is just, I'm going to make sure that things are, not too close together. Cutting the problem deck is like, you're going to make sure that I don't know where they are from the last game, even though you saw me shuffle them? Just, I don't know, it's a little strange. Again, at this high-level play, though, you'd mull his hand, you said?
Captain.
Yeah, he's got a cap. I would keep it, I think. Yeah. I don't know how necessary it is this early, but the threat is an important thing to keep alive. I think one thing that might have helped him a lot would be a second Destiny Drain. Because he is not able to... If he draws Destiny Drain, he can't use it. Because the only things he can hit are cards that have been played, because he does not have any destruction. Things he has Captain Jacked. If they're that critical, they're not going to go away from Captain Jack, though. Or things he has Nightmare Mooned, and that's the big one. If something's important, you're not going to let it die. You're going to keep it in hand, and the only way to attack the hand for him is with that Nightmare Moon. We've got that Double Trouble opening, so I saw Aoizotl as one of them. The other one might be a Starlight. I think he'd be hoping for a Starlight. I don't know that he'd drop both if one of them wasn't.
Yeah, that would be really questionable right at the start.
Kind of lock himself out of scoring as much as possible, as soon as possible, because that is definitely something I think he wants. We're seeing that Twinkle Shine come out right away. Rainbow Shine, I'm sorry. We're seeing that Rainbow Shine. We're seeing a shiny Sprinkle Tinkle come out very, very quickly, like. Quickie Shine, Twinkle Shine. I ain't got none. We're seeing that Rainbow Shine come out very early.
There it is. So that's
Starlight
a
into that
startup.
Tyrek.
So now he wants to get Nightmare Star.
You're gonna challenge that Tyrek, allows him to flip. Get that double flip, definitely gonna kill it. Almost certainly. Looking through his hand for an option. Ponyville Emergency, not something you wanted to flip away. Also, what was it? Nightmare Star on Richard's side.
Yeah,
Again, not something he wants to flip away. And what was the other one? Did you catch it?
No.
Alright, so 2 points for Richard there. Killing that Tyrek.
So Richard scores 2, and now what he wants is Nightmare Moons or Nightmare Stars. Like, the Flim and Flam, basically a dead card. The Bell Tower, probably not going to be too helpful. He has the Destiny Drain in hand already, so it's just like, what do you do? Yeah, Bugle's not going to make a mistake.
Destiny Drain's in hand
Yeah,
already.
Destiny Drain
That's
is in
pretty
hand.
unfortunate.
Yep.
So the only things he's able to hit are card. I would have mulled just for that, unless he just drew it. I would have.
Yeah,
I would have
actually.
mulled that drain back into the deck because you need to be able to Nightmare Moon. You need to hope you get one of those F stops. Hope he can't get it back right away, and then drain it. If he could drain an F stop early, I'm
He
fairly
would have a
convinced he would
fight.
win.
Yeah.
I don't think there would be any options left. If Bugle can only push him back like 3 times, whatever. He can. Bugle would be able to get rid of he'd be able to special beam cannon 1 clipped wings. He'd be able to portal a second clipped wings off of Ursa Vanquisher. As soon as the 3rd clipped wings came out on that Ursa Vanquisher, Richard would be in a lot of trouble.
That's true. So that's yeah, I agree with you. I think that even though it was a nice hand because he got a Glimmer in the Tyrek, I don't think it was the best.
I think that Destiny Drain is such a critical card in this fight that
Like, it's a nice deck. It really is.
yeah, but I think you need to be able to use it, and he has not been able to afford himself the opportunity to do that to any strong end. I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see what comes of that, I suppose.
I'm still kind of surprised that Cruel Mistress lost to a vendor aggro deck.
Vendor deck. Interesting.
I understand how it could happen. It's not as bad, like, because it's not a vendor deck that is recurring and pulling stuff out, because then Misfire just ruins it.
That's very true.
I believe that Apple vendor deck works on just dropping
Just sheer
things
speed?
dropping big, hard to destroy things, and I can see how that could win. I wouldn't have expected it to
True.
be a problem, I guess. It's
Seen
interesting.
Seen Bugle dig a little bit. Kind of waiting on him here still.
And I mean, so, like, I don't know. I wouldn't have expected it to crop up in tournament, like, in top 16.
A vendor deck
Yeah.
at all?
Yeah.
If it is a vendor deck, we're still not entirely sure of that, I think.
I think I know which one it is.
Think so?
Yeah, there was one in regionals.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, this
Something that those
just has, like,
those cards that give your
slips and
main
snails and-
extra power and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like a lot of
Zap
that.
apples,
Probably.
bunch of boosting stuff out of your grave. What got hit just now? What's in the grave there? We got Mimics, not so helpful in this matchup. Breakdown, not super helpful in this matchup. And I think a Rainbow Shine in the back there.
Yep. I'm pretty confident in that.
Gonna mute for just a second here. Give me just a moment. Sorry about that there. We're good. Alrighty. Looking at Richard's turn, I believe, here. Bugle kind of just drawing to set up what he needs to. A little hard to make anything of not a whole heck of a lot yet. We got a villain coming out.
Yep.
Unexpected from a farm deck. I would not have expected to see a villain played.
Indeed. Oh,
Interesting. We're gonna throw a Flim Flam over there. We're gonna move the counters over to
He
it to
wants to-
confront.
he's like,
he wants
I
to
have
speed
to
this
be-
along
I have to
as
be
quickly
fast.
as possible. That's totally fair, I think.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's a little unfortunate that he is he able to double confront at all
Yes.
with this Flim Flam?
Oh,
Isn't that his
yeah.
only non-orange?
Yes.
That is his only non-orange, so he is not able to confront his Avalanche. Well, he's not able to confront his Rock Slide. He's not
unfortunate.
able to confront his Rock Slide and double confront.
So once he moved that power over, Bugle was just like, okay, I'll kill it then.
Killed it right away.
Yeah.
Strong move. Deny him that point. Did he exhaust the Rainbow Shine for it? I imagine he exhausted the Rainbow Shine for it, but I just didn't see it. Alrighty.
Alright, so... it's hard to see what Bugle got, but
Still
I
probably
see a
gonna...
makeover in there. I see yeah, there's Captain Jack and Destiny Drain, and Bugle's always aware of that kind of like the Captain Jack, so I'm sure he's just gonna play what he needs to and then win.
And yeah, not gonna get greedy at
Well,
all.
attempt to win that way. Pardon. Let's see. So we got a Frozen
We're-
Magicite that's already really discouraging.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah.
Not gonna allow him to get those power counters back, and shove him back before that Troublemaker can even come out.
I think
Just watch, it's Starlight Glimmer.
Richard might actually be tempted to just use the Destiny Drain on the Frozen and Magicite.
I don't know how worth that'd be.
Oh wait, no, because there's still
There's the Ursus
still
and the
other
Ponyville
one.
emergency. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Bugle has got himself covered. If any one of if in some cases, even if two of his options get drained, and that's not something Richard can do, he's still got it covered. If Ponyville emergency and Frozen and Magicite, one copy of each of those were to get drained, Bugle would lose that Ursa. I think a misfire on Richard's side would have been very helpful.
Yeah, definitely. That would have been something to consider for sure.
I think so. I'm kind of surprised he didn't reach that conclusion, especially with all the other techs he did reach the conclusion of, like that Flim Flam preventing double confronts,
I'm really
that Destiny Drain.
I'm really skeptical of the Bell Tower. I guess
I'm not sure what fights it's super helpful during. I guess it allows him to, if he gets doubled against, not allow his opponent to kind of move back up and set up. Just the threat that there could be a big old fear bomb at a problem, something like that. I don't know, though. I don't think that was a fantastic choice, honestly. I don't think it was a terrible choice by any means. I just think there are better choices. I'm curious to see to what end he was able to use that in other games.
yeah.
We're going to clip wings at Rainbow Shine. I don't think that was a fantastic choice.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
I think there are higher priority targets in this matchup. I think he needs to keep them to be able to continue to threaten F-stops.
Yeah.
Even if he only turns them off for a turn, even if he only buys himself a split second, I think those are the split seconds that he needs in this fight, and I don't think Rainbow Shine was doing the damage right now.
Yeah. I agree.
That said, he does seem to be just wanting to tear ahead as much as possible, as early as possible, so anything to slow down Bugle at the moment might be worth it.
Yeah, I can see where he's coming from there. So Bugle has a portal in hand, so we can definitely reset that Rainbow Shine if you wanted to. I don't think that would.
I don't
probably
think
be the
that's
best
necessary,
idea at all,
really.
but
Move it up to a problem if we wanted to as well.
yeah.
I think he's gonna hold on to that portal for a little bit just to make sure it doesn't get hit.
We probably will play that paper twi and then.
That portal being really useful. It both removes these clipped wings from things, as well as allowing him to move them and move things that aren't the main.
So.
If something gets exhausted, if something gets bailouted, he's able to portal it back in, good as new.
Yeah. So I think Bugle might not have an option in this respect, or I think he's
Just
gonna
at the
play
moment
that
here.
paper twi almost certainly.
Don't think that there's too much reason not to. Might as well gain that extra AT off that prepared.
Yeah. He's playing Gyro. Or no, he's not. He's playing 3. All right, there's the Ursa already. Huge problem. So Richard needs to. He wants Nightmare Star, and then he
Gotta
wants
get either
to.
that Nightmare Star or Nightmare Moon him.
Well, if he Nightmare Moons him, then what happens?
He loses a Jack, which is kind of sad. He loses his Drain, and Bugle would know that that's gone and be able to play a lot more oppressively. He wouldn't have to play nearly as safe because he knows that Richard doesn't have anything to get that Drain back. However, there's not a whole lot in his hand otherwise. There are other things he could get. Hitting Bugle, keeping him down early, getting rid of that Ursa Vanquisher is really critical, I think, at this moment at least, if he wants to go fast.
If he plays the Nightmare Moon, I mean, I guess it's probably fine. It's just not as. Then he closes it. He closes it up, and if Bugle is Bugle will know the Destiny Drain is gone. Then all Bugle needs to do is play the F stop, and that's
True.
kind of it. Because then, Richard might be able to buy enough turns. That would be pretty hard. I mean, if Richard's willing to take that gambit, then take it. But, and I mean, what are the other options? I guess that'd be a good question.
I think it's just really gotta go fast and hope for the best. So I think that Nightmare Moon is a good choice.
Yeah, I think the
Hang to
I guess
draw.
I agree. Really, this matchup's just rough for a solo age. Well,
Nightmare Star, not a bad draw. Or that Nightmare... Gee, it's Starlight. That Starlight Glimmer, not a bad draw.
Yeah.
Able to drop that, allow him to move up on his own turn, so he will not get Ursa Vanquished. That Frozen Magicite is currently in the grave, so Bugle will not be able to get that one back. At least not easily. Doesn't have to be afraid. He can farm that Sombra.
Yeah. Huh. Alright. So he plays, but what did he play?
I think it was a Nightmare Moon.
Okay. Yeah.
Bugle may be aware that there is the chance that, especially if he's stacking two, he's probably now, he's broadcast that one of those is that Starlight. He may well, if he has the option, try to barrel into an F-stop, get that Magicite back, reduce its cost. If Richard does challenge, he'll get that prepared token on that paper toy up top. So he may actually have enough AT to barrel into F-stop, get that Magicite back, and be able to Magicite Richard back on his own turn, since he is not able to use the Ursa Vanquisher against the Starlight movement.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little hazy here. Yeah, but Richard's gotta hope to hit some really good stuff with this.
With this
Bugle
Nightmare,
has
if
a,
that is what it is.
Bugle has a
I
stiff
think
step.
that's what it is. It should
Another
be, I
thing that
believe.
could really work in Richard's favor is there's Singing
that
Barrel
barrel.
and F-stop.
Into
and
F-stop,
that's
into
like,
Magicite.
yeah,
Are we correct?
yeah.
Into F-stop.
And then he'll probably grab Magicite because he knows.
You'll be able to reduce cost by 1, and you will get that prepared token, so he will have enough
Well, he
AT
can't
to do
reduce the
that.
cost by 1.
Oh, that's true. But with that prepared token, Gyro.
I think. Well, he's prepared for the Nightmare Moon, so he's playing the F-stop because that's really.
Just to get it on the board, you think?
If Bugle has F-stop on the board, then in this fight, what are you gonna do?
What is
I guess
he
you'll-
searching for? Did he... Okay,
Special
beam
game.
cannon.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
he's gonna beam that Clipped Wings off. At the beginning of his turn, he'll be able to exhaust the Rainbow Shine to reduce the cost of something. He doesn't have the AT to get the Magicite back, though. I'm not sure what he's looking for right now.
I think he just wants to dump the.
Might just want to have him on the board, I suppose.
If he has
I don't
F-stop
know.
on the board, I'm even. That's already extremely
Yeah, that's
bad
pretty
for Richard.
devastating. I do think Richard might have had a Nightmare Star as well. So it is possible that is Starlight and Nightmare Star. One is definitely the Starlight. I think the other one was Nightmare Moon, though.
Yeah. So,
Starlight. Pop his own Starlight. Nightmare Moon, there it is. Attack both those hands.
Yeah, so but Bugle made the right choice. That's why
I think
he.
so. Get that F-stop
that's why
out.
he
Lose
dropped
some
the
stuff.
F-stop and
Loses the
the,
Ursa Vanquisher.
And that Destiny Drain is gone. So the threat is
So Bugle will be able to, just kind of go nuts now, go ham. That he knows that Destiny Drain is gone. That was the biggest threat to his deck. He can throw F stops. He can try to lock out as hard as he can. If he gets Captain Jacked, as long as he's got a barrel, as long as he's got that cleaning up, he can continue to get those F stops back. So he is in a pretty good position with that Nightmare Moon. That said, at the moment, Bugle's hand is pretty empty. He doesn't have a lot of answers. Richard can try to tear ahead while he is able to.
Also, Bugle played the Gyro for the Earth Pony.
That is true. To get that extra flip. Not bad at all.
Flips away another Nightmare Star.
Oh, another Nightmare Star. That's so sad. That's 2 Nightmare Stars flipped away here for him so far.
Richard goes up to 4.
Richard up to 4. Will not be able to confront that problem. Richard pulling ahead a little bit for now.
Yeah.
Bugle not forgetting that prepared. He took that token off that paper toy.
Yep. And another thing is just the finite resources that farm has. There's just enough junk. There's enough problems. Yeah, I've already reviewed that. I've reviewed this a few times on stream already. But there's a single card answer, single temporary answers was sufficient when Ursa Vanquisher was the only thing you really had to worry about. But now we have Frozen and Magicite and
Ponyville
Ponyville
Emergency.
Emergency along with F-Stop. So I don't know if it really does it anymore, especially when you're fighting something with just F-stop, but also F-stop with Ursa Vanquisher.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely starting to see why Bugle made this choice over Cruel Mistress. I think it's definitely the right choice.
And something he's very familiar with as well.
Yeah,
Familiarity goes a long way, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to pick up a hard to use deck, and just the deck can be fantastic, but if you don't know what you're doing with it, you might as well not have used it.
Yeah.
And these are cards, these are mains, these are situations he's very familiar with.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not cooking up a devious combo with the combo crew. He's doing this, and it's working.
Yep. It's interesting. I think that I'm not sure about this. I'm actually really surprised that a mono orange farm, almost certainly Apple Vendor, will be making it. I did talk about how Apple Vendor is a really, really, really good main.
I think that was that last Nightmare Moon that he just drew.
And the frailty is usually when it comes to recursionary stuff. He drew the last Nightmare Moon?
I think so.
That's
He
really
tossed
nice.
he tossed his second one with the first one. I think I honestly would have just dropped both.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably put one under the other one just so it's on the board. So at some point it comes out.
Yeah.
He does not have too many cards to protect other than those Captain Jacks and the Destiny Drain, which he had come to terms with tossing.
Yeah, it's true. And let's see here.
Top card, we're losing an Air Maspy.
That kind of hurts.
That hurts a bit.
Yeah.
Could have bought Bugle some time.
Yep. Because that's why a lot of people are still using Aramasfi, is because it's a time it buys you a turn.
Mm-hmm.
Like almost guaranteed against farm.
Bugle opting to draw does not seem to suspect that second Troublemaker is a Nightmare Moon.
Yep.
Exhausting that F-stop to get an event back.
Again, probably assuming that is not
Just
a
say
Nightmare Moon.
he might be casting it right
just,
away.
Yeah, he might just use it right away. I wouldn't wait on it. There's no
I
reason
don't
to.
think there's much of a reason
Yeah, there
to
you
do
go.
that. Reduce that cost, pay 1, shove that home. Not going to get to challenge that Nightmare Moon right away. Will be losing that Paper Twy and that Gyro. That Gyro will not be helping him get the extra, or cancel the extra flip from the Rock Slide against the AJ if it does get back up. But with that F-stop on the board, I don't think he will be able to get up to that problem and stay at that problem to fight that Nightmare Moon.
He moves up the thing because he's afraid it's a Glimmer. That's a very smart play. Because it's really not pushing him back. What's the worst that can happen? It's not a Glimmer, but then...
Yeah.
What's happening? You have a thing that's
Get
prepared.
Nightmare Moon, losing a study session doesn't help much in this match. Gonna get that Gyro frightened if he remembers.
So, let's see here. Got a bell tower.
There it is. Alright, he remembers to frighten that Euro there.
And,
Richard's kind of stuck behind a wall of Troublemakers here again. No dilemmas to break him out of it. He's gotta kill these, and with Bugle being able to just bring back those his F-stop is not under threat from that Destiny Drain anymore. He's able to just continually bring back that Magicite and push that main back on the fly. If Bugle gets out a photo finish, he may well just be able to sit in this state and try to win the game.
yeah, and Bugle's already checking. He's like, okay, what can you do to slow or potentially crack an opening at this point?
That's still trading traditions as that starting problem down below, correct? That has not been switched out yet?
Yes.
So if that is the case, Bugle still has purple on his DJ. So even if he gets...
even if
Captain Jack comes out right now, he can safely toss
and this is something I
Rainbow
actually
Shine.
think might not be a good idea, because Bugle has recursion. Farm does not. Farm has to spend resources to redraw certain tools. And then these Nightmare Moons, so long as Bugle can put the card, and he puts the card in after the Troublemaker phase. So discarding's already happened. He'll get the thing that he needs. His opponent will have less resources and have to spend to try and establish anything at all. So this isn't not idea for Bugle. This is actually fine. You know? Because again...
Totally able to run with this. If he gets those photo finishes, he can just drop one at home, sit here, even if he gets Captain Jacked, keep that F-stop. He's still got that purple on his DJ. just drop another photo finish later on.
Yep. And Bugle doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have to double. He doesn't have to wait, take a hit, then play a thing, and then get it back with F-stop.
Yep, those discards happen before the F-stop.
Yeah, so then he's just pretty much like, okay, whatever. And he's playing I believe he's going to attempt to play a second F-stop.
I don't think that's the worst choice.
Nope.
Be able to pull back that Magicite.
Yeah, there you go.
His cleaning up is safe as well from any kind of disruption. So even if something were to happen to both of his photo finishes, and for some reason he was not able to get back his Snips and Snails to try to get into blackmail, he can use that cleaning up. He can get that photo finish back. He can just continue to drop those. Richard has limited destruction options.
And now he's in a situation where he can lose his limited destruction options.
Because of those Nightmare Moons, yeah.
So that's why I was kind of tentative on playing them. I was thinking only playing them so far as you would just farm them immediately afterwards. And
and he did try to. He got Magicite. I think dropping one under the other would have been the correct choice, though.
Yes, that would have been fine. Having
that
two
guarantees
out
that
and
both
your
don't
opponent,
come out at any given time.
Yeah.
Is it possible to rewind game state?
If you trust. Yeah.
What would
You remember what you drew?
I drew this card, and this was in my hand.
what you drew?
Yeah. This is another point where
Drew for this one.
I'm familiar with this scenario. Remember pre-release?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I'm fine with that. And did you do any other draw
No.
from your start? So this was in your hand,
Yeah.
and you have
Three.
118 back for that one.
Well,
118 back right now.
For now. Oh yeah, from there.
Yeah.
Okay. And
then this-
those were the 3 cards you had in your hand.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot about the Nightmare Moons?
exhausted.
We'll leave all of this
And
for
leave
now.
all that?
Yeah. Because everything else can be done, except for possibly.
Yeah, this is nothing. Okay, so then double discard.
Yeah, we forgot to discard. So that Troublemaker that was hit.
1 from here.
Yeah.
5. Okay. I thought.
Sure, so this is 1, and this was 5.
Okay.
Well,
So
no,
now,
he already did.
so that
Oh,
was
you
for
were
the first
rolling
one. Rolling which one to discard.
I already discarded
Re-roll
one
on
card.
4
I
and
did not
5.
discard 2 cards.
Looks like we have a little bit of a.
Alrighty, so
You have to discard.
seems like that was solved. Not too much of an issue. So we're gonna get that Troublemaker out on the board anyway. It was an F-stop that was hit by that second Nightmare Moon.
You did
Yeah.
discard one already.
Yeah.
Was that the napkin?
We
It
rolled
was
one.
nap pick. Yes, we rolled 1 die.
Oh, you rolled one for nap picks. Okay.
I'll pay
We're
one.
now caught up.
Yeah, I'll pay 1.
Alrighty, so it looks like we're good. Looks like we're in a good spot again.
Looks like we're fine.
There's still that defense mode card right above the rainbow shine there. I'm not sure what that's doing sitting there.
Need to be discarded.
I think that was something that was supposed to be in Bugle's hand.
That was gyro. I don't know.
Okay. 1.
It's weird.
1, 2, 3, 4. Reroll. And yeah. Hopefully they're.
Yeah, what Bugle? You don't have a. But you don't have a. What's it called?
1, 2,
One.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Get some D4s. Get some D8s. Get some D10. No harm.
No harm.
No harm. D10s.
D10s. What harm? No problem. Stop it.
Just stop it. That's like.
Alright, so we got the. Was that another night? Okay, no, Owie Zodles. I thought I saw another Nightmare Moon in hand. I was like, hold on a second. What's happening?
Yeah.
Okay,
Actually, I
a couple
think
more
I've
villains in
played
hand.
Richard.
That cannot happen. I've fought him before.
Yeah. Is he the? He played Pile of Did he play Pile of Presents
think
in Continentals?
so. I think so.
Yeah.
Kind of curly hair if it's the dude that I'm thinking of. If it's the gentleman I'm thinking. If it's the bro. If it's the dude.
Oh, is it okay? I'm thinking of a different person then, because I think that. Yeah, no, he doesn't talk the way that of the president. There was this one gentleman when I played at Gen Con. He had Pile of Presents. This is one of the moments where I recognized that I was not getting enough sleep over Gen Con. And I'm just like, what is he doing? And I'm like, oh, this is Pile of Presents. I need to do this. And he's like, oh, okay. And he was always like, he conducted himself in such a way that it's clear that that the individual has dealt with people who get really upset. And he just kind of, he's like, I know this. He just acknowledged the other side and then he move on. And he was a cool guy. I was like, I can appreciate these kinds of things because you do need to. There's no point in like doing anything that would make someone even more upset. I mean, unless you're,
you're playing a little
Mind game.
a little. I guess dirty isn't the proper word. I guess it is kind of playing dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to
Just upset someone so they don't
just-
play instead of just
just kind of tilt your
Like-
opponent over.
like clearly not
Bait out a
something that can
mistake.
be like yeah.
Exhausting for those AT. Exhausting for that draw.
This is the main. They are all main. They're all main. They won for bailout on F.
Okay.
Discarding triggers.
Bailing out that F-stop, not bad. That'll keep Bugle from being able to get that Magicite for a turn. Ponyville Emergency, we know is in the grave. Ursa Vanquisher, we know is in the grave. See, this is what we were saying. We need to. I think he needed to use those bailouts on that F-stop when he gets the opportunities.
All right. So Bugle's actually going. Oh man, he might actually break this.
He did think ahead. He does have those troublemakers out in advance.
Yep.
So even if Richard does break through these Nightmare Moons and score those points, he at the very least does have himself a little bit covered.
Yep.
Searching through that grave there, only one F-stop in the grave.
Yep. So what Bugle wants is what is it? I wish Bugle played with his hand just a tiny bit more tilted so that there's a gyro in there.
There's a gyro in hand.
There's a gyro in hand. He's fine.
He doesn't have anything to search for at the moment though.
Is it both his Magicite?
Oh yeah, no, his Magicite and his Emergency are in the grave. I am almost
okay.
certain, and I know his Ursa is because I got Nightmare Mooned earlier. That said, he might be able to search
cleanup.
for cleaning up and use that to get one of those cards back.
Yeah, and he has plenty of AT, and he has a reduction of event.
Yep. So is it cleaning up? He might cleaning up into F-stop just to be safe and just to get another F-stop on the board.
And no cracking.
Cracking the case.
Okay. Maybe
Just
he doesn't have enough. Maybe I'm overestimating how much AT he has.
That's true. That's
He's
possible.
getting that thing back into his hand.
So
Peculiar.
he's going to be dropping a photo finish or a second F-stop this turn. Otherwise, he will not have the wreck from the one F-stop on his turn to play that cracking the case.
Yeah. What is being? What's the plan here? Okay, so he is. Wait. He is playing cracking the case on that Nightmare Moon.
Interesting.
Okay. Does he just want the Air Mass Fee? Does he? I'm not quite sure where the thought is.
Yeah, because Richard can definitely just move up to that top
Yeah,
Nightmare Moon and
he has
challenge
plenty
it.
of like, unless cleaning up is also in the discard pile, in which case
That's
that
possible.
would not be the best situation.
His beam cannon is in the grave as well, isn't it?
Maybe.
If,
I'm not
if
quite
that's
sure.
the case, and that F-stop got
Now that trouble, that's Bugles. Okay.
if that Clipped Wings got played, if a Clipped Wings got played on that F-stop, he might be in a little bit of trouble. I think he only has one F-stop remaining, and if something happened to that because of that Nightmare Moon,
I saw a special beam cannon in
So,
there.
yeah.
Both snap cakes, but those don't matter.
Portal's gone, beam
I
cannon's
think I
gone,
saw the clean. I think I saw the cleanup.
cleaning up may be gone,
If cleaning up is gone, then
emergency's
actually Bugle
gone,
might actually be in a little bit of
Magicite.
trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that F-stop does get Clipped Wings, and something happens to his third one that I believe is still in the deck, there could be some trouble here. So there's potential for some
So what Richard needs to do now
for
is
something bad.
He needs to.
Just gonna go ahead and confront. Interesting.
Yeah, he can do that. I don't know. No, he doesn't have his last Nightmare Moon, correct?
That one was tossed.
Yeah, that one was tossed.
Yeah, that was tossed by the first
So
one.
now it's a matter of. You might fear those paper toys. So yeah, it was like a Trixie or something. Yeah, actually, hey, those Nightmare Moons have been paying off. He needs to. Yeah, Bugle has a lot of events in the discard pile.
Party one,
Party
okay,
I mean,
not something you
yeah,
wanted.
that's Bugle's like, oh, I don't care. I'm never gonna use that against you. You know, except like in the nichest of situations.
The nichest of situations.
The nichiest of
The
situations.
nichiest of, in the most existential of situations.
In the biggest mustache, the guy.
Let's see
Nietzsche's
what
an
we got here.
interesting guy. Ponyville.
Oh, there is
whatever.
Ponyville Adventure.
There
I
it
could have
is.
sworn that was in the grave.
Now he
so.
gets to buy a turn. And there's Air Mass Fee, so alright, well, Bugle's probably recovering, maybe.
Probably fine.
Yeah, unless, I think Richard needs to probably dig for... Richard,
Clipped Wings would
Nightmare
help.
Moon is a problem now. again. But Richard now wants a clipped wings and a bailout into another clipped wings,
Yeah.
and then he would have to deal with it as a vanquisher.
I think Bugle may be searching for second F-stop breakdown. Interesting.
I think he wants
Possibly
to
just
score a
confront.
point. Yeah, he just wants to score
That
a point.
DJ going to
He-
unexhaust at
he
the
does-
top, at the front of the, at the beginning of the score phase, a often not utilized ability of that DJ. If it is with 3 friends at the beginning of the score phase, it will unexhaust, and that allows him to confront.
Yep. Already a phenomenal ability, and then it gets a decent other one.
Yeah, something
Or a
just
fine.
a nice little thing on top of it.
Yeah.
I'm already keeping crazy consistency. Why not score a little more on top of it?
Yeah. Oh, DJ. I made a video talking about how you might be a problem.
Still might be a problem.
It's pretty... Not a fan, but at the same time, it's the only thing keeping Pink afloat at this point. Like, I mean, I guess that there could be just an Ambassador Friendship variant of this.
True.
It would be probably a little less... It'd probably be a little less, but...
I think so. I think DJ is stronger for something like this.
Got Poppin' Corn.
My popping corn card.
There's a caricature we've made fun of where he's very enthusiastic about the F-stop Popping Corns setup.
If you ever get to go to a tournament, pretend to be a Yu-Gi-Oh villain. Carry like a giant fishing rod or something. Get a fishing vest. Just be a fisherman and play a fisherman deck, even though that's not a thing in this game. Just be a character. Get all your friends to be characters. Give somebody at the tournament who's not in on the joke a dual disc, and they're the main character now, and they have to defeat all of you. Fantastic.
I thought of an art
See AJ
project.
coming back up.
Oh yeah, all right. I've thought of an art project, and maybe I'll get to it. It'd be a good way of practicing primitive or using primitive shapes and drawing anatomy and bodies or whatever. Where basically I would come up with archetypes for every color would have a character to it, and every color combination would have a character to it. So like,
Dude, those little things that were what did we lose? We just lost Makeover.
well,
He's got the barrel,
He
so
has
it's
a
not the
barrel
worst
through,
loss,
so
but still a little
there's-
scary.
there's almost nothing. He has that AJ Epiphany in hand. So now he has the F-stop back, so he can grab the
gonna
thing and play the thing.
Get the Magis, or get the thing, play the thing, just move the
sometimes you
thing,
have to-
get the Magicite
And
back,
sometimes you have to plug the thing into the box, and then where
you go from there.
Yeah.
You're gonna reduce the cost of that, spend 1 to shove that AJ home, Richard back in a poor position again.
Yeah. And Bugle's just like, no, you're not farming. Come on.
I have seen something like that though. Like if you've seen them floating around the internet, those pictures where it's like character X, character Y, character Z, and then there's the little mini combinations in the middle of X and Y, Y and Z, X and Z, and then in the middle is X, Y, Z, Dragon Cannon
Yes.
from Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
I should make that. That'd be funny actually. I like that as a meme, as a meme for a Yu-Gi-Oh page. It's one of those images, but it's just X, Y, Z, Dragon Cannon, and it makes all the appropriate fusions. So it's just like, oh, it's not even a joke in this case. It's literally just what the fusions of those would look like.
Yep.
It's not character and X and Y interpreted into a new character done by the artist. Just nope, that's literally what they turned into. Okay.
So, like, in this case, it would be like solo orange would probably just be, kind of a farmer, whatever, strongman. But like,
I'm gonna popping corn that.
Per-
No confront on Bugle's side.
yeah, purple-pink would be like a mad scientist,
I like
and
that.
white-purple would be like kind of an academic.
Push up their glasses, get that little sheen.
Yeah, like kind of a snobby academic. Like,
Was the principal from
similar.
not
to,
Rainbow
yeah,
Rocks, but the third one,
Yeah,
the third movie, whatever that movie was called, Friendship Games. Principal Cinch at the Crystal Prep Academy. We do not play orange decks. We play only purple white decks.
yeah, yeah. Stuff like that. I was just like thinking like that'd be a fun little project.
I like
that'd
that.
be cool.
I like that. See interpretations of all those. I do think there is, at least in general, people switch around, people play different kinds of decks, but I think people, when their deck is available, will usually tend towards a type of deck. Early on in this game's life, I liked pink-white because I'm like, cool, I can bring things back, I can move things around and blow stuff up. Now I've settled on Apple Vendor, which I've been using for like 6 sets because there's something wrong with me. And I'm like, cool, I like to play 1 million cards a turn.
And that's him.
And that's me.
Yep. And I like to make sure my opponent is as sad as possible.
If they score points, you failed as a player.
I am a Yami Merrick of sorts. Where it's just like, yes, you didn't score any points. If you ever play me,
Shadow Realm.
and I'm playing Control, even if I don't seem like I'm enjoying myself, believe me, I am.
Even if you're solemn and straight-faced and silent,
Yeah.
that's
And-
when you thrive.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And sometimes it's not about the immediate fun. It's about looking back and
Looking
being
back,
able
being
to
able to
constantly
remember.
look back and go like, yeah, I did that. That was fun.
Bugle gaining AT.
Like when I zeroed to 15 somebody and I never flipped my main. That was a good time.
Wow.
Yeah. So Bugle.
Richard's still in a
yeah,
rough
Richard's,
position. Nothing's changed in this last turn. We
nothing's really been.
went on our little tangent there, but how do
I
F
think I'm
stop's still
okay
out?
with the tangent just because I'm like,
Well,
what's
yeah, we kind
happening?
of seen the
But-
situation last game.
Yeah.
Troublemaker, another troublemaker. F stops on the board. 4 will hit that middle one. Why are we rolling twice?
Yeah, I think they do the re-roll as opposed to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh,
I
okay,
guess.
fair enough.
Yeah.
So what did we
You
lose?
just get a D3.
We lost a rainbow shine just now. We're gonna bail out that F stop again.
He's
Gonna
looking
try
for an
to
opening.
buy himself time. Probably gonna want to go kill that Nightmare Moon, I think.
Oh, okay. It's still Bugle's turn, so he's just what?
Oh yeah, doing it before Bugle gets the
Yeah,
chance
he's
to.
playing that photo finish. He's
here's
just
that
like,
photo finish, it's coming out.
Let's try and.
I'm gonna slow me down. Well, I'm gonna speed it back up.
Yep. Has Bugle checked the discard pile? Because I wouldn't feel 100% comfortable if it was if there was a Captain Jack looming around in that deck over there.
That's true.
Yeah. Wouldn't
That's
feel
sad.
too good
Again,
about
if that F stop is out, he'll get everything back
he'll
in,
get
in some
everything back
form. It
eventually.
might take a little
F-stop
longer, a little
real
less
good.
long, but
This is kind of one of the reasons why I'm just like, I couldn't not play something that could get rid of a thing like F-stop. Because it's just like, I don't...
there's that Captain
There's
Jack.
that Captain Jack. Did play it? I don't know if there's a question there. Or
Any
maybe he
reason
doesn't
not
have
to?
enough at AT. Okay, he's drawing. I think he might just reduce... I think he draws to reduce the probability.
Of getting that sniped. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Does he only have the 1 AT at the moment? Are we sitting at significantly higher points than I thought? Because
No.
Richard's score has not moved in a while. He's
No,
been
no,
locked in
he's
place
been
for
locked
a
in
good
place,
bit.
and Bugle's just growing his state, and he's just kind of like, I'm happy just sitting on this Nightmare Moon, and...
I think he's just gonna go ahead and pass.
Yep.
I think he's just hoping for that 1 and 3. But if that is only 1 AT that
That's
I'm
two.
looking at, is it 2? Okay, it's 2.
It's two. So
I was
he's,
gonna say
he's
because
got a Captain
he
Jack
won't
next
have
turn.
enough. So yeah, he's just hoping that he can hold on to that for next turn. See if that works out for him. Another point for Bugle off that photo finish.
Yep. Well, he got 2 last turn. He got 1 more other. Or
That photo finish came out last turn, I think.
yes. So he would have confronted.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Confront into the photo finish score. True combo. Let's see.
All right. So now, oh, misfire. Well, it's orange, so there's well,
Gotta
no,
misfire that orange. Gotta make sure that all those cards are even more permanently dead than they were before.
misfire.
Permanently are dead.
I mean, misfire against orange is okay if you're like, oh, I don't want you to use Mac and Jack. I don't want you to use.
That's true. There are things it can do.
I don't like that
In
double
this-
diamond or 2.
In this deck here, not so much.
Yeah, no, not at all. He knows that there's not a thing. That ain't a thing. All right, so Bugle's thinking. Yep, he's like, all right, well, confront. Bugle's gonna run out of AT, and then he's gonna lose on a technicality. They're like, you don't have sufficient things to represent your AT.
Sorry, gaining AT is mandatory, and you don't have any AT left to gain.
So Bugle's at 4.
Whoops. Yes. Scores off that photo finish, hoping that Applejack doesn't get hit. Or that Captain Jack. Captain Jack gets hit. And you can hear him.
Yeah, Bugle's like,
he
well,
felt that one.
Yeah.
I think was that. Do we know that he had any others? Do we know that he has any left?
I know he threw away one, and now he just lost another.
That's
So now
rough.
it's just kind of a matter of
There
sitting
might be
now.
one. There might be one Captain Jack left. We'll
Let's
have to
see.
see. One's gone.
He's scrolling pretty fast here.
Two gone. Two gone.
All right, so he has one more. So it's still kind of a. I mean,
There's a chance.
there's
It's
a
starting to look like last
probability
game, though.
could, yeah, that both internal accounting for both in game and out of game. There's possibilities that Richard could
Yeah.
make it through. I can say for sure. Possibilities. He will score 5 at the end of the turn, so if there's like time, sudden death, Bugle wins.
Bugle wins.
Yeah.
Richard
think
feeling the
Richard is-
pressure.
yeah.
I think he is.
He's literally like,
I
well,
think he's accepted that this is a loss. I don't think he believes that he can fight his way out of the situation. Doesn't look happy about it.
yeah.
Hard fought. He played what he could. I think he learned from that first game a lot. Through the he drew clipped wings. If it does go to some kind of sudden death thing, that clipped wings could buy him something maybe. Throw it on that photo finish. He doesn't lose when he ends his turn. If that's the case.
In which case, the first game was a win. The second game was a tie.
Oh. Bab shoes my enemy, today shoes my friend. I remember. Not a Bab, sorry. Ever free.
At Everfree.
Bab shoes my friend too.
That's not a friend, Bugle. That's a troublemaker. Colin always cheating these
Always
combos.
miswording.
These commentary is magic, people. Man, crazy.
So, Richard just kind of. I mean, I think he's. I don't know. Maybe he's.
Gonna draw a little more. We'll see.
Yeah, I'll just.
We are. I do believe we're approaching time though. I
Really?
think that's why.
Yeah.
I think that's why I was brought up. I did not pay attention to when these games started.
Yeah. He's like.
Clip wings, the photo finish. Yeah, that's the only move.
Yeah. What else is there really?
He shakes his hand, just kind of resigns, like, well, this is all I got.
And did Richard go first or Bugle? Do we remember? Do we, as a hive mind, remember that
Bugle,
situation?
I believe, because there was that whole Nightmare Moon mind game at the beginning.
Okay. Yeah. I think that was the first one.
Was it?
Yeah. Wait, no. No, there wasn't.
I've been letting it stay in the deck rather than possibly discarding the nightmare.
Oh.
Yeah, I will keep on off. That's fine.
All right. So we're kind of actually listening to what players are saying, and
Yeah,
this
it's
is like
kinda
the
fun.
first at all because we're just like, oh, well, now we're in.
Bugle's saying, this card on top isn't what I want. Therefore, I should draw it.
So I don't.
So
lose
it
from
doesn't get
Nightmare
Nightmare
Moon.
Mooned. I think he's just looking for that other photo finish. I think he wants to get ahead while he can. I think he wants to stay ahead just to be absolutely sure that even if something tragic happens to his position here, that he is ahead enough if time is called.
Yep.
Richard, I think, making the correct play, hopeful play in dropping the clipped wings on that photo finish, though.
All right. You know what?
Exhausting F stop, we're going to get that Magicite back, I imagine.
Yeah. Or special beam.
Special beam cannon.
Yeah. He wants to speed it along.
He just wants
I
to
suppose.
score as quickly as possible.
All right.
Get that photo finish back. Always announcing his moves.
Yep. That's always good practice, so then there's no confusion.
Mhm.
It's definitely something even I take for granted when I'm playing people, and it's just like, I move these cards around. What are you doing exactly?
I've definitely done that.
Yeah.
I've definitely been guilty of that. Just flashing a card at someone and then just like, what was that? And like, you don't know?
Oh, you don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
Hmm.
But I pointed at your card with my card. That's universal. How could that be misconstrued? I obviously make the two interact. You should know what the interaction is. Come on.
It's like Yu-Gi-Oh, where you just have to know every single card. There's no text on any of the cards.
Like in the show. That is a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Perfect design. Good job, Pegasus.
Yeah, there's literally just like dark energy and stuff. I think in the later shows they actually have like the
Text
thing with
on
the
that,
text
that's
on the
fair.
cards.
And they actually start sticking to what the cards actually do
Yeah.
instead of
And remember,
flotation rings.
drawing the right card is a testament to skill in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Oh, that's true. Great. I need this card to win the game. I drew it. Great job, Joey.
Yeah, that's pretty
Woo.
much it.
Great duelist. He drew the card.
He drew a time wizard, and then he played it, and then he got the right guy.
And then he got lucky.
Yeah, and then
Woo.
he got lucky.
Great. True skill.
Great, willing to take gambles in a game. We play in Fissure too.
I
We
think
using-
Richard's passing his turn. Bugle confronted on his turn. I didn't give him that point either. So Bugle up at 6. By Jove, we're scoring. We're getting 4 action tokens now.
Oh man, that means that
Really speeding this game along.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the cleaning up might just be better than the Pinky's Epiphany. Now that I think about it, maybe.
1 odd, losing the gyro. Did he say he wanted that? What is he looking for?
What is he
There's like
doing?
2 cards left.
There's like
Is it the
4,
photo finish?
I guess.
Cleaning up?
Yeah,
Used that, didn't he?
He wants photo finish. So
That's what
then,
I think.
Why is he spending the F
Is it F
stop?
stop?
Okay, well there you go.
F stop.
F stop. That's probably game. I mean,
Mother of God. 2 of them. Now it's over. Take pictures. Look, Mon, no hands. So we're gonna F stop into cleaning up. We're gonna cleaning up into photo finish, and we're gonna play photo finish. I think. I think that is the play that we're about to see.
I mean, Bugle does know that there's a 3rd Captain Jack, I would hope.
That's true.
So really, he needs to not do that.
Magicite, we're getting Magicite back. Is that Napcakes?
It's Exodia. I knew it. Clean up. There it is. Yeah.
I could have sworn he had that earlier.
No.
Get back this photo finish.
And then he's gonna.
So we might be wrong. All 3 Captain Jacks may be gone. We may just not have seen them while flipping through that discard.
Okay.
But again, even if that does happen, he'll keep an F stop. He'll cleaning up. He'll get him back.
Yep. He has
Might
so
as
much
well
AT.
score faster.
Yeah, he has so much AT, and then he's gonna be able to
You farm the nightmare.
at some point.
This is a pretty rough situation.
Yep.
I don't think, again, there is a way out of this time.
Okay.
Portal.
Yeah. I think, I mean, if there's no Captain Jacks, then the deal is sealed. But even if there is Captain Jacks, he has a singing barrel and an F stop. He's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna portal my F stop. I'll exhaust my F stop to get back portal. I'll cast portal on F stop.
And I'll exhaust my F stop to get portal, and then I'll gain 1,000,000 AT. Is that how you want?
Pretty sure.
Is that purple white combo?
Purple-white combo.
Yeah.
I mean, we did see something that said purple-white combo on that deck list earlier.
Yeah.
Not sure what that one was.
All right.
Would be a useful card if he could flip it. Could not flip it.
It's true.
Seeing him pay the draw. Clipped wings.
That's what I needed. There's
And there's
Nightmare
the
Star.
final card in deck. No Captain Jack in hand?
Yeah, no Captain Jack.
All
in
right,
hand,
guess we
so
miscounted
that's,
earlier
yeah.
when he was flipping through real quick.
Yeah. so-
Turn off one of those.
Yeah, you know what?
Turn off
Yeah,
one of
okay.
those photo finishes.
And he has all his troublemakers in his hand. Yeah.
Alrighty.
And he's gonna portal the thing into the whatever. Yeah.
That is true. Okay, so he gets that F stop. He nap cakes one of his own friends on top of his deck.
So he scores 2 points.
I'm just saying, before the end of turn triggers before
Okay. So, this is game. Pretty much.
I think so.
There's not a. It's another thing where I'm just willing to go like, well, yeah.
Showing us those night. I know, Richard.
Yeah.
We saw. We're sorry. We know you wanted them. I wish you could have played them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Unfortunately.
Just locked out too much too early. Just didn't get them until it was too late. Until there were always Aramaspes and other villains all over the board. Epics. I'll get that right one day. They're epics now. They're not all villains.
Yep. So at this point, what I would want is a
Bugle putting this card on the bottom of his deck over and over.
Yeah. So at this point, what I would want to do is play natural 20, have my opponent lose their entire hand, and then play misfire. And then cracking
Banish.
the case, and then cracking the case the Nightmare Moon.
To banish every card they have.
And then I would
Perfect.
perform the ritual to banish their main. You know the one.
Yeah, the ritual.
Yeah.
I forgot about the ritual. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah.
Chat knows about the ritual, right? When was the last time you guys did the ritual? Leave your answer in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button.
Things are ramping up. I guess.
That a little while ago when we finally got to 4
We're clearly not ramping up. At least me, I'm just like, huh?
What's happening?
Like, oh, okay, there's Earth Ponies there. That's good. There's an F stop, so
Oh,
someone's
good. Earth Ponies. Now he can flip additional cards.
like, all right, there's an F stop there, so someone's winning. I know that
Both
much.
these games went to both players having no deck.
Yep. Several games go to no players having no deck.
We're going to score a point.
You mean 2 points? Or one?
It was just the front.
No, he challenged the thing.
Okay, I think I will simply move to Sorbet.
Oh, he got that Nightmare Moon.
may be way far ahead, but I have successfully changed my hand into nothing but troublemakers.
Oh, good sport about it,
All
at
right,
least, still.
okay, cool. All right, I ain't mad at no Richard.
What a
That's
sweetie.
That's how you pull up. That's how you lose with grace. You
Were
make a
these your
stupid
cards?
Joke. Like, you fool!
8 troublemakers in the hand at the end of the game. What a hero. Sad to see him go. Bugle's one of ours. He's one of our Colorado players, so we have to quietly root for him. Woo. But sad to see Richard go. It was a treat watching him up till this point. Watching him during his previous match against some other human.
And so
Who was it that Richard was fighting earlier? Against Thomas. Richard against Thomas last game was very fun to watch.
So
It's a
wait a
shame to
minute,
see him
is
go.
there like not enough time for the?
What's going on?